The opinions expressed on this show do not necessarily reflect those of the Barbers Chat Network, our great partners at H&B Media, or any of our media peers. We're just five idiots who love sports and love to talk shit. If you're offended easily, then this show isn't for you. And for those of you who aren't offended easily, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Remember, it's only entertainment.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold. My agent just said we made 100 flat. Make it back and make it stack this like I'm Steven Jack. Put my rings up in the camera like I needed that. Up in the air and at the rim is where I meet them at.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
What's going on, y'all, man? It is your boy Scott here. Welcome. It's been almost 2 weeks, but we're back. I'm not going to hold you. It is Friday, December 6th, 2024, man. I'm your boy Scott Lewis. Of course, you can follow me on every social media platform at Barberchair Scott. You can follow the Barbers Chair Network at Barbers Chair Net on Twitter and Instagram. And, of course, you can follow HB Media TV on Twitter and at HB Media on Instagram. And while you're at it, subscribe to the Patreon, man. Patreon.com/Barbers Chair Network, man. You can go to this link right up here on the screen. Just scan the QR code, all of that. I apologize for nothing being updated on there this week. A nigga was sick. So this first time I didn't even open a computer today. So but we appreciate everybody who has subscribed. We'll be updating more and more on there, man. We're gonna be a lot more consistent with summer sessions. I know I've said that 100 times, but I'm dead ass serious. As the last ad just said, man, if you subscribe to the $10 feed, you get 25% off your first order on the Barbers Chair Network shop. That is bcnetshop.com, man. It is cold as fuck out in pretty much most of America. Go ahead and get you a hoodie, man. Get you a hoodie right there, man. So we appreciate everybody who has copped from the merchandise store, man. We got a long show for y'all. We on the air an hour earlier than we usually are on Fridays because we've got a lot of stuff to go over since we did not have a show on Monday, and we didn't have a show on Friday last week because of Black Friday, and a lot of shit has happened since then, man. So shout out my super producer Nikhil in the building. We're gonna bring in two of my co-hosts, man. We've got Mikey and Dante in the building. Bang will be joining us in just a minute, man. You can follow Dante at OctoberZoneTay on Twitter, and you can follow Mikey at Junior_Solito on Twitter as well. How y'all niggas doing?
Hey man, you know, it's only one thing I love more than days I don't produce, and that's being correct. And, you know, it's gonna be a lot of that on the show today. So
see, I went back to the review booth. I'm gonna go by where you're not 100% correct.
Here we go.
As well. But you have correct. We'll let you get a little bit of your shit off. But yeah, you did get some. As you said, I've been waiting for this. I just got done rewatching that movie too. Deadpool Wolverine. But Mikey, how you feeling, bro?
Chilling, bro. Chilling. The orange was not planned, just so y'all know. Dante with the hoodie, me with the Scully. That was not planned, but it also is my favorite color. So
yeah, there you go.
Real shit. Shout out to the the expansion draft tonight. I think it's actually about to happen now. But yeah, the Valkyrie.
The WNBA got the worst scheduling.
The Valkyrie.
from Thor Ragnarok.
Right. Her fine ass.
Yo, Tessa Thompson is the only actor to actually have a British accent, and she's American. I thought she was from fucking London. I looked up like shorty from LA. But shout out Alex, man, in the chat. We appreciate you for watching, brother. He said Taylor looked like an LA County correction. That's hilarious. But we are all back, man. Bang will be joining in just a minute. Courtney be joining us in hour 2. We got the homie Larry Legend joining in hour 2 as well for Respected Culture, man. But been a lot has happened since we've been on here, man. But Thanksgiving was last week. I know we're finna do a wild late Thanksgiving recap. But how was y'all Thanksgiving? Like what y'all do?
I was solid. I just went to a couple family members' cribs, grabbed a couple plates. It's always cool because I haven't lived in Chicago since 2007. So my cousin lives down here. So linking up with her, seeing my little baby cousins, that's always good. So I had a good time.
Yeah, I went to the bar. I have sent y'all videos and shit. I went to the bar early for the Bears game, and I was pretty rocked. You know, I had told my mom I would be at her crib for like an early little thing. You know, really on my mom's side of the family, it's just me and her here. My little brother moved to New York last month, and all my other family's in PR. So I left my girl at my mom's crib, and I was like, yeah, I'll be back by 2:30. Game starts at 11:30. Man, that was the longest fucking game ever. Like, I didn't pull up to my OG's crib till close to 4, and I left right when it finished. So that was cool. And, got to spend the time with my dad's side and be around some family drama. So you know how the holidays are.
Yeah, I was in Detroit at that hilarious ass game. My auntie lives in Detroit, so every time I go to Detroit, I ain't never got paid for no B&B, no hotel, nothing. You know what I'm saying? My auntie got a decent crib out there, man. So I got my own room out there. But the next day, so I came the day before, and this is why I love Detroit, man. Detroit gets a bad rap. I was not a tourist spot or nothing, but every time I go there, I really enjoy my time. I've been going to Detroit since like 2002 when my auntie moved out there. But it's a hustling ass city, bro, and it's kind of like Chicago in the aspect where you never met a non-proud Detroiter. Like everybody from Detroit is proud they from Detroit, and they want you to go to Detroit. Want you to know they're from Detroit. So I go to Detroit, and my uncle drops me out, takes me to the liquor store. So and this is peak laziness, by the way, because this is the liquor store, and it wasn't even 2 blocks away. I was just like, it's like 10 degrees outside. I'm not like let's just drive over there real quick. So I go to the liquor store. There's a nigga outside the liquor store trying to sell me a podcast. By the way, respect the hustle, but it was funny because yes, it sounds right. Try to sell me a podcast. Nigga had a paper with like description to the link for his podcast. And I'm just like, oh, okay, whatever, bro. And I took the paper, just took my Jameson, got in the car, and drove the fuck off. Because I'm like, I don't know what you want me to do with this, man. But was out there for the game. And we'll get into my breakdown about what happened at the game to where I kind of had a hunch this nigga was fired. And when I told y'all in the chat, like, I'll be shocked this nigga has a job past Friday. But let's get into that, man. Bang is not here yet to say the local hour. So this is the local hour. I refuse to sing like that nigga. But it's time for the local hour, man. I did not update any of this artwork because this is the artwork I was going to use on Monday. So I was like, we didn't use it on Monday. So we're here to break it down.
Put that fucking Kevin Warren's face, bro.
Yo, by the way, when you
look at his fucking face, he got no top lip, man.
Yo, this nigga Mikey, I gotta get a screen protector for the stuff that comes through the group chat. This nigga Mikey said, this Kevin Warren ain't got no lip. When Kevin Warren ain't even like 10 feet in front of me. I instantly was like, oh shit. You got like you got the cameras that they show the press conference like right behind me. So that shit was funny, man. But let's get into it. 7 days of Bears craziness. Last time we were on the show, Matt Eberflus still employed by the team, and we were like, yo, if it's gonna be a blowout, he's definitely gonna lose his job. I thought while watching that game, and Ford Field, look, it's amazing. Every stadium I go to, and this is like my 4th time in Ford Field, is just so much better than Soldier Field. Like everything is better. Like even down to the way the organization moves. They've got their PR people, and this is no shot at the Bears PR people. I love y'all. Y'all hold me down. But the PR communications people, will walk up to you and ask you is there anything you need help with. Like it's like they're your fucking waiter or some shit. I thought that was very impressive. But and the popcorn quality has gone down. I will say that. Used to be one of my favorite stadium popcorns. It's gone down in almost 2 years I've been there. Very, very low quality now. But I thought a close game like they had, and there was no shot of Eberflus being fired. But the way it went down, and I remember when it happened, when they didn't call a timeout, it happened so fast that I knew they had a timeout, but part of me was like, there's no way he wouldn't have not used the timeout if he had it. So after the play was over, everybody in the press box is like, yo, they had another timeout, right? And it's like everybody instantly remembered that Matt Eberflus had another timeout, and outrage. Outrage hit it. People were leaving the game. Fans were just like, what were they thinking? Like, I've never seen a fan base not really even happy about they won, but that the fact that the Bears were so stupid to let that happen. And to me, I was like, oh, that's the last straw. And then when I was heading to the media room, and we waited for a long time, and we headed into the media room, I just look at Twitter, and it's going crazy. And you got your usual, Bears Twitter going crazy after every Bears loss. We're the ones calling Eberflus an idiot. But this is local. This is national heads now. You got Stephen A. Smith tweeting about it. I saw Kendrick Perkins tweet Eberfuck. You know what I'm saying? I saw like all these different outlets tweeting. I'm like, oh, there's one thing that the McCaskies claim they don't like, that's being embarrassed. And I truly believe that if that game happened 12 noon on a regular Sunday, nothing happens. I think that being the first game and a showcase of Thanksgiving games when everybody's getting around their family, I think that had a lot to do with the conversation. So I go in the locker room, and I wasn't in there long because we didn't ask questions this time, because the vibe was just different from when I was in there for a quick moment. Now, we will find out later on what happened before they let the media in, because it was forever before they let the media in. And then after I quickly went in there, we went to wait for Eberflus. We waited for like 30 minutes for Eberflus, another 30 for Caleb. And the vibe I felt was there's no way he keeps the job. And usually he's confident about it. All that confidence is going out the window. So which is why I was shocked the next morning when, I'm looking like, yo, we ain't got the email. I kept telling y'all in the group chat, we ain't got the email. They usually send a Zoom link stupid early in the morning. We're getting ready to head back to Chicago. I still ain't got no link. So we on the road now, and then I get an email from the Bears super last minute with the link, but it didn't say Matt Eberflus press conference like it usually does. It didn't tell us who was talking. So I'm thinking, oh, maybe it's, Ryan Poles or some shit like that. And then we get on there, it's Matt Eberflus. And then I started being upset, like, oh, man, even this can't get him fired? And, I think that's when everybody in Bears Twitter started, going through the motions and things like that. But we got the announcement right when we were on the road. And the crazy thing about it, and I was telling Nikhil this before we did the show, it was a fucking snowstorm in Michigan, like to the fact where a truck tipped over. Like, a truck usually takes 3.5 hours, 4 hours maybe to get to Chicago from Detroit. It took us 5. So while this is going on, news hitting and everything like that, and that's just one of many things that kind of went crazy that week. I want to just get y'all initial reaction. I know we like a week late on this shit, but to the events leading up to Eberflus firing, Mike, y'all go to you first.
Yeah, that, like I said, I was watching the game at a bar. And the bar was really only open because the Bears played the early game. They were closing actually at 5:00 that day, and there was a pretty decent crowd. I'd probably say there was probably like 25 people in there. And everybody was screaming at the television, with every play. I think a lot of people forget that drive started within, the 1 yard line. And, to be able to get down there, get down into at least at the very minimum in position to tie the game and maybe win the game and have ample enough time, have the timeout. I was feeling, rather confident on it. But then in my head, I was just at the Vikings game. I seen the block kick. I seen the fuckery there. We obviously have just came off of the Packers game. We've seen the Commanders game. We've seen what happened last year in games. And I'm like, man, how are they going to fuck this up? I was completely shocked. I and to me, it really just goes down to, Eberflus just not having a clue when it comes to in-game management, when it comes to having to make those coaching decisions. I found it very telling. When after the Commanders game, Spiegel and Holmes had asked Jalen Johnson, why didn't he think of calling a timeout? And he's like, we were never told that we actually could call a timeout. That directive was, kind of brought down that only Flus will be able to call a timeout. So I've seen a lot of people, the instant reaction with a lot of people is, Caleb, why didn't, Caleb took too long. Why didn't Caleb call a timeout? Why didn't Flus call a timeout? And I was instantly on the, defending the rookie QB because you know what? You have a rookie QB and that is not for him to do. That is what you're there for as a head coach. You're there to protect him in that moment. So, it was upsetting. I was also, as a fan, I still don't get the players off the hook. Offensively, it was a terrible first half. They didn't do shit offensively in the first half. I was like, yo, one more score and I might be able to just go home early and catch the rest at my mom's crib because it was low energy, but they persevered. They fought. I thought Tyreek Stevenson had a really big, game saving, hit where he popped that ball out of Jahmyr Gibbs because if they score 7 there, it's a rout. But even on that drive, you have a Keenan Allen, unsportsmanlike penalty that brings you back. You have a big game by DJ Moore that at the very least he's tackled I think he was out at the 9-yard line with, what was it? The almost 38, 40 seconds left, but then you have the hands to the face by Tevin Jenkins. Then you come back very next play and Caleb misses it was a terrible throw. It was a wide open DJ Moore for what would have possibly been.
Was the DJ Moore thing before or after that Cole Kmet bullshit?
That was after. Yeah, that was after. Was after. I'm talking about the crosser where DJ Moore, where Caleb just completely missed him and kind of dirted it.
Oh, yeah. That's a touchdown if he is on that. I know.
Now that is the play before the sack, before the last play. So that was the third to the last offensive play of the game. So, me just being a fan, obviously, I think we all in this chat and everybody that's watching, we were resigned to the fate that Flus would be gone at the end of the year. I don't think we ever really had confidence that they would make that move. But still, I, talked about it on the last pod. I want to start seeing some of these good offensive moments by the offense and Caleb be converted into wins because they needed to learn how to win. So I was upset in the moment that they didn't get it. But then obviously that sack was ridiculous because I guess it was a draw play. Like, even then, I questioned Thomas Brown on that. Like, what are you doing there? And then, you have the last play where Caleb really tried to make something happen. And if kind of Rome played through the contact and kind of made an effort to make a play on the ball instead of trying to get the whistle, I mean, you probably have a walk-off touchdown. But, we say all that to say, once again, the Chicago Bears found themselves in a one-score game with the ball with the ability to tie it or win. And a Matt Eberflus-led team found a way to piss down their legs because of decisions he made. And, we knew that this was going to happen. We've seen what happened last year with the Broncos, Browns, and the Lions game last year. We've seen what has happened this year. And I just think, kudos to Jalen Johnson and kudos to those guys for standing up. I know there's a lot of pushback on social media and kind of like sports radio from some of, ex-players and some, some media outlets, kind of pointing their fingers at the players for kind of like speaking out to Flus. But listen, enough is enough. Like, these guys put their bodies on the line. They show up day in and day out. They know the talent they have on their team. Mercedes Lewis has been in the league for fucking almost for half of, our fucking lifespan. And he said that this is the most, talented team that he's been on. So they clearly know, the players know first when you got a team and when you don't, and they felt like they were continuously being put in bad situations by their head coach. And it was just, the right time to make the move. So I was shocked that they did it. And I know we'll get into the Kevin Warren, Ryan Poles dynamic later on, but I don't think that this move happens in season the way it did if Kevin Warren was not employed by the Bears.
Go ahead, Dante. What was your reactions? Everything happened with the
I mean, I was excited. I was really excited because I mean, one thing we've been asking for is a break from the norm, a break from what we usually do. And one thing we've seen is that everybody's hating on them. Well, they don't fire people in season. They don't do that. And so I picked them to get embarrassed on Thanksgiving, but I didn't expect them to be this type of embarrassing fashion because at the end of the day, you could have won that game. You had another timeout. You had a lot of moves that could have been made instead of saying, we were fine with what happened once again. And I think that's been his consistent attitude throughout the failures is that going back, I wouldn't do it again. I wouldn't do it different. And I think one thing you can't be when you make these type of mistakes is be arrogant about it. Like the least you could do is if the media is asking you a question, be honest about it and say, yeah, looking back, we probably could have did that different. There are probably certain situations where we could have played tighter defense. We talk about the play. And again, it all goes back to the Hail Mary because, when he shrugged off the play before the Hail Mary, that was something that should have got him fired. When you sit there and say, well, this 14 yards didn't matter. What do you mean? They won by a Hail Mary, bro. Off a tip pass that got tipped into the end zone. It clearly matters. It's when you make these type of statements, it's like, nah, he shouldn't be there. So, like you said, Scott, I was half right. But I mean, I think I just felt like after this game, if you lose this game, you had to make a change and you had the time with it being an extended week to let Thomas Brown take over. Really see what you got because I mean, again, if you can catch lightning in a bottle, you really cooking with doing a lot better than what you anticipated and what could have been a disastrous situation like it's always been. Where after year one, here you are with your rookie quarterback, and now you got a new coach, a new coordinator, and so now you just have the time to really see this out. But for me, that game, you have a lot of people who want to blame Caleb, want to microanalyze every issue, every throw, and that's something that we did with Justin and I said was a problem. And we've seen it with Caleb as well. And I think overall he's continued to play well and he's played better each week. He's, struggled in the first half, but he picked it up. And again, one thing that I've loved and one thing that despite everything that's going on, Caleb has put them in positions to win. And that's something that we've always asked of our quarterbacks. His fourth quarter play has been really well. Unfortunately, we haven't won these games, and it's been the same reason we were losing games in seasons past, and it's coaching decisions. And this is something where it was one thing when we were tanking. It was one thing when we were trying to figure out what we had, and there were still a lot of holes on the roster. But this is a talented roster, and like you said, I'm glad Jalen Jones spoke up and said, we're losing these games, and we know it's not a talent issue. Like the fact that he said that was something that was telling to me that showed that this has been brewing for a while where the players were simply not happy with the way they were being coached. I thought it was crazy at the beginning of the year when they were just saying Waldron's a really nice guy, sometimes too nice. Like when people are saying
that's
about
insane.
the coaches. Yeah,
that's
like
insane.
saying like they don't like they're kind of scared to coach us. That's weird. That's not a team that's going to be successful in most cases. Like so. I'm glad it happened, and I think going forward now you really have an opportunity with the games we have left to see what this team can do with some new energy in the room.
Yeah, man, I think too what was funny to me was when we heard what happened in the locker room after. Shout out to our guy, friend of the program, Adam John. Shout out to Dana Rossini from The Athletic, who all reported that Jalen Johnson got in niggas' face. You know what I'm saying? And Jalen didn't dispute it on his weekly appearance on Holmes and Spiegel, didn't dispute it today when he was asked, and he basically had a sly look on his face like sometimes people need to step up and say things. And it sounded like he wanted to remember that scene in The Best Man where what was Morris Chestnut's playing and Lance when Lance was playing cards with Q. And he was talking, yeah, my girl never do that. And then Q's like, yeah, nigga, you never knew she around. And then got off the table and
that
nigga. That's how I viewed the Jalen Johnson, Matt Eberflus conversation going when he went there like, we got each other and we've got ourselves. Like that's how I imagine what the altercation was.
And that's how they described it. They said that he had to be held back and multiple people had to kind of, restrain him. And I think, when Diana Rossini and Adam Johnson say like Flus just kind of ate it and walked out, like you can't, there's no coming back from that. But I found it interesting that that DeMarcus Walker, there's a piece with Jason Leisure this week in the Chicago Sun-Times, and he basically said that he kind of did the same thing the week prior after the Vikings game, but it was more towards he was upset with the way that Flus called the defense in overtime, and he felt like being the head coach, you being the defensive coordinator, you're not putting us in the right spots to win because of the defense you were calling. And I was there, like I said, first play after the Bears punt after the Caleb sack, and we punt to the Vikings. It was a sack, Montez Sweat, 2nd and 17. And to DeMarcus Walker's point was, why were we not continuously bringing pressure? Why did we go back into kind of a soft bend don't break defense and into our base defense and allow Sam Darnold to complete 3 passes of over 12 yards that drive? I think there were 2 20-yard passes that drive. So you could tell that it was building. And I think the downside for us, when we get back to the fan standpoint, is just why wasn't this move made earlier? And there were some reports that Matt Eberflus or that Ryan Poles actually wanted him gone in January. They told him no, and then he wanted him gone after the Patriots game. He kind of wanted to do a Waldron and Flus firing and then elevate Thomas Brown. And it just always will make me think, what would have happened if they would have made that move then? Because listen, the Packers, the Vikings, and the Lions are 3 of the 8 best teams in the league, definitely 3 of the best 10 in the leagues, and the Bears had them beat all 3 times.
Yeah, too, man. And I think that's the most frustrating part about it. Every time I see what Thomas Brown does good, or just how this team has responded, I think, what the fuck happened in these Shane Waldron meetings that said, you know what? That's my guy right there. That's the biggest question mark I got, man. But going to our next topic, this is why I said Dante was half right. We had a conversation a couple weeks ago about who's running shit at Halas Hall. And Dante was like, until proven otherwise, I'm going to keep saying this to McCaskies. And I was like, I was told that Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren have full carte blanche of what happens at Halas Hall. So I'm half right because obviously Ryan Poles don't. But the winter of Warren started this past week. We all know that he was the one who basically came to Georgia and said, yo, enough. We got to get a get rid of homeboy now. And Monday, I'm going to do what's Monday. So Monday was the press conference. Very interesting press conference. Very long day for your boy personally because that's when I started feeling sick. And I'm going to blame Pavy. I have no actual reason for this actually being Pavy's fault. But I was with Pavy on Saturday. And we went to a liquor store. And after we got done kicking it, I got sick after that. So I'm just gonna blame that nigga. I have nobody else to blame, so I'm gonna blame him. But so I was not gonna go to Halas Hall on Monday because I was not feeling good. And they still had not sent the email. And this is what's crazy to me shows you how this organization moves. You fired this man on Friday. You had all weekend to figure out who's going to be talking and what days they're going to be talking. Why am I just not getting the email 3 hours before the actual press conference is going to start? So I get the email, I'm half sleep, and I see it says Ryan Poles and Kevin Warren going to talk. I'm like, all right, they never talk. So I was like, I have no choice but to go to this. So I thugged it out, went. But it's like, when you ever have a sickness hit you just in the middle of your day, it hit me as soon as the press conference started. But what I took from that, same old bullshit. Now this week was a week in Black history because everything's black in Halas Hall now, except for the owner of the team. You got black president, black GM, black coach, black offensive coordinator, black defensive coordinator, black special teams coach, black head coach, black everything. So that was a good thing to see. But Kevin Warren, he's been here for a year and a half. I don't know anything about him. He talks like he's in a TED Talk. That's why I call him TED Talk Kevo. And the long ass statement he gave that said nothing. We don't want to hear that we have the best fans in sports. Every team says that about their fan base. We don't want to hear about how you're committed to doing this. It just felt like they were trying to save face. And it also felt like, Kevin Warren, what we know was showing his balls. Paul was like, look, this is my show from here on out. Even when questions were asked, I think Jason Leisure asked, who has the final say on who the next head coach would be. He didn't give a clear answer. Even when Adam Holt doubled down on the next question, like asked the same shit, there was no answer. And Ryan Poles, I've been covering this man for almost 3 years. I have never seen him that quiet. It looked like he got punched in the chest before he came up there, and he looked like he did not want to be there. And it looked like he was a little humble, because I remember the last press conference he did, or the second to last. I don't want to be corrected by anybody. Second to last press conference he did. It was a lot more of a vibe, right before the season started. It was actually week 1. Confident vibe of, we had this great off season, and we got our quarterback. We're going to go out there. We're here now. This is a completely different vibe. And it looked like he was kind of shell-shocked, a little bit of angry that he has been trying to get rid of this problem for the last couple weeks, and he has not been heard. Or the last couple months, because he wanted to get rid of him to begin the fucking shit. So it kind of feels like the dynamics are off a little bit. Where, like, yes, Kevin Warren is clearly running the show. It's clearly the winner of Warren. But there's also the McCaskey is still involved. And no matter who Kevin Warren wants to hire, obviously, George is going to have to give the final okay. And there was 2 other McCaskies there sitting too, while only these 2 are talking. They left by the time Thomas Brown came up. And it was kind of like observing it. And that's the problem that we see. And that's why I say, Dante, you're right as well. But it looks like George is still running the show. But Kevin, to me, is going to be playing a role of president and also GM here. Dante, just take me to what you thought about Kevin Warren's press conference and what your original thoughts were about the power structure at Halas Hall.
This is what gets rid of all hope I have. It's like, as long as McCaskey is the one with his hand on the button and he's the one who really has the final say, so that's an issue for me. And that's always going to be an issue for me. And you've heard players say it. I think Jim McMahon said it like in 96 or something. It was years ago. But, everybody who has been a part of that franchise understands that until you have people in there who actually understand football and understand the way a franchise should be ran, we're going to run into the same problems. It's going to be the same issues. It's going to be the same lack of communication, lack of cohesion from top to bottom. And that's the only way you get success in the league. It's the only way it's going to happen. And so as more things came out and we saw it, I'm like, yeah, this is the same old bullshit. Just like when we were talking about them being a package deal. It's like, nah, when Poles got hired, they gave him a sheet with 4 names and like, here, look at this. These are your options. So it's like when you have that type of shit going on, that's not a recipe for success. So again, Kevin Warren, everybody, we all had the idea that, he's just here to, bring us to stadium, which, they still haven't put shovels in the ground yet, and going on 2 years with him here. But I think now you have to really, the rubber has to meet the road, because Ryan Clark said this today. It's some dogs in this division coaching wise. Like you have to get this hire right, because you have, you claim you have the roster, although we know we need to fix the offensive line. But for the most part, you have your quarterback, you have your skill positions. You need to nail this coaching hire. And so the power structure has to be straightened out, and it has to get to a point where everybody's on the same page. But like we said, until George completely takes his hand off the wheel and it's like, all right, I trust y'all. Y'all are football guys. Y'all do this. I got it. That's cool. But as long as the Bears are still concerned with, Chicago Bear culture and building it their way and having it to have a certain look, having certain people at the helm, we ain't got to go into details. You know what we're talking about. If you've lived in the city, you know what that means. But as long as they're still concerned with that, and it on the surface it seems like it's not, then if that's not the thing that we should be okay. But if it's still they want a certain attitude, certain mentality, we're gonna be cooked. So like you said, it's a big summer for Kevin Warren, because you have to get this coaching hire right. This division is too good for you to waste another cycle with Caleb Williams with a bad coach. That's not gonna fit.
Mikey, what stood out to you from that press conference? And I guess Kevin Warren's rolling it. It's something we've been questioning for now that kind of feels like finally been answered.
What stood out to me was I got a flashback, and I just saw the perfect image of Ryan Poles being morphed into Rick Hahn when Rick Hahn had to announce that Tony La Russa was going to be named the manager of the Chicago White Sox. That was what that felt like to me. That's what it looked like to me. It looked like somebody who had his feet cut from beneath him. I agree with you, Scott. I think he looked pissed. There was a moment where somebody had asked a question, and Warren was responding. And if you kind of like rewatch it, Pose kind of made one of those like chuckles to himself, and then like a head shake smirk. I think there also is a level of embarrassment. We have to look back at this. Everybody was kind of, riding the proverbial Bears dick, this whole off season. They were going to win the off season. They were going to draft the most generational quarterback. They had all of this cap space. They were going to be on Hard Knocks, and you're on Hard Knocks, and you're stating that it is time to win. You're stating that this is the deepest this roster has ever been. This is the deepest this O-line has ever been. It's going to be hard for people to make this roster. And now you're looking at another season where you will be under 500, unless you win out. And a season in which, for the first time ever, you had to fire an offensive coordinator in season and then fire the head coach in season in Bears history. Neither of those two have ever happened. So there has to be a level of humility and being humbled and being like, fuck, what happened? Now, I don't think we will know the true story on this until Pose's tenure is done in Chicago. Whether that be he retires, long from now because he's brought sustained success and was, rewarded in keeping his job, or whether he's fired in 1 to 2 years. But I would like to know the real story on the Matt Eberflus, Ryan Poles pairing. Obviously, we know Trace Armstrong plays a big part in that, but was that really his hire? Then you start reading the tea leaves as to why Cliff Kingsbury wasn't hired, and that being the person that Ryan Poles wanted. Allegedly, Ryan Poles wanted Cliff Kingsbury, but he allowed Matt Eberflus to make this hire. And Matt Eberflus was intimidated by somebody like that. He was intimidated by his personality. He was intimidated by somebody who could supplant him if things went wrong, obviously, because if you're Flus, you got to look at it, 2 losing seasons, and you kind of got to be better than 7 wins, as they were last year, this year. So he went with Shane Waldron, and I believe he went with Shane Waldron because Shane Waldron was a nice guy and somebody that he was never fully threatened that would supplant him if anything happened. And obviously we see, Shane Waldron, didn't even make it to Thanksgiving. And that is embarrassing for this franchise. That is embarrassing for Matt Eberflus. That is one of the reasons why Matt Eberflus is no longer a Chicago Bear. And that is embarrassing for Ryan Poles. So, Kevin Warren, in comes Kevin Warren, who was obviously hired to be the president of football ops. And, there's this optics that he wanted, that there's the optics that when he came in, that he would only be focused on the stadium. But he's been sitting, he's been watching, and everybody kind of wants to come back and say, he needs to just focus on the stadium. That's what Ted Phillips did. No, Ted Phillips and George McCaskey were the ones who interviewed these head coaches and provided them to Ryan Poles. Ted Phillips has always been involved in football stuff, regardless of what he says. So this is the McCaskey way. He has empowered somebody to, that is higher than Ryan Poles to go ahead and make these type of decisions. You got to look at it from Ryan Poles' standpoint too. When he was hired here. Kevin Warren wasn't here, and he was told he would solely be reporting to the owner of the Chicago Bears. 1 year passed, and that dynamic changed. And that happens in a corporate structure. That happens in the real world. There's people that get, hired in jobs, and dynamics change. But that is a big dynamic now when you're hiring somebody like Kevin Warren, who was the commissioner of the Big Ten, somebody who's been in NFL football for a very long time. I think a lot of people, only remember him for being in the Big Ten, but somebody that's been with the Rams, somebody that's been with the Vikings. So, his name does carry a little bit of weight within the league. Remember, there were talks of him being the next up for Roger Goodell's spot as a commissioner in the future. So this is somebody that is obviously respected, but you are stepping on the toes of your young ascending GM. So for me, all of that was displayed. There were people that were even talking about just the attire of the two. Kevin Warren coming in a full suit and being business as usual, and Ryan Poles wasn't.
He always dressed like Bunk Moreland from The Wire.
Right.
Always how he dresses.
Very true. But now look back at every Ryan Poles presser for like big announcement. He's suited up. So little things like that do matter. And I just think the body language, Courtney Cronin had brought up a good thing too. Like Kevin Warren's opening dialogue was like 9 minutes long. What the fuck did people want Ryan? What did Ryan Poles want him to do?
I want to say something else about that too. It was weird. So his dialogue was like 9 minutes, and it felt like his was more rehearsed. When Poles was saying his statement, it felt like how when I know this goes against gentle parenting. When you get your ass whooped as a kid, and then you got to repeat like what you did wrong.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna do it no more. Like I ain't gonna do it no more. That's how Ryan Poles looked over there. And then even with the media, they cut media questions off very quickly. In fact, there was a question that somebody was asking about Trace Armstrong's availability,
and that's when they deaded it.
Not the availability, but his impact. And they clearly heard the question. And the next thing they didn't go back to him. And when she tried to ask it 2 other times, that's it. They cut that off, which is very weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, but even if you look back at it, he had like the crumpled up paper. Like, I just feel like he honestly was shocked that everything happened so abruptly. And for me, like, that just goes back down to the dynamics. If you were in the locker room, like everybody is reporting, and you saw what happened with your players and the head coach, and Kevin Warren is on record going up to players in the locker room as they're getting ready and saying, don't worry, we'll get this fixed tomorrow, then you knew you were going to fire him. You knew the night before that this was leading to that. So why do you look so shell-shocked? And I think maybe there was a talking to before the interview on Kevin Warren, like, hey, this is how this shit's going to go. So it's going to be very interesting. The dynamic, once again, is muddied, within the Bears, and this does not look good for the organization. This does not look good for potential head coaches. This is something that they're going to have to answer to in these interviews, and they're going to have to fix their rep. But once again, they have nobody to blame but themselves for the way they continue to mishandle these situations.
Yeah, 100%, man. I also want to say this before we move on is some people like, if I was Ryan Poles, I quit. Man, there's 30 of these jobs, with 31, 32 of these jobs in the NFL, bro. Like, niggas is not leaving their job, bro.
I hear you on that, but then I also, it's 50-50 because.
And also, he's a nigga. Let's not forget this point.
But he's loved within the NFL. He got the backing of some of the best, from the Chiefs and everything. But you got to think about it.
He ain't getting another GM job, though. He can get another job. He ain't getting another GM job after this if this doesn't go in the right way.
Okay, so why would be sit in Ryan Poles' spot? And if some of these rumors are true, like I said, I don't think we're gonna find out for a while on this stuff. I think after he's gone, if these rumors are true that he wanted to fire Flus at January and the people above him told him no, if it's true that he wanted to fire him back after the Patriots game where the team would have only been 4-5, still with the potential to ascend and get into the playoffs, and they told him no. If it's true that Waldron was Flus's hire and that wasn't who he wanted, then wouldn't you fucking go into your office and be like, yo, am I allowed to do my job or not? Because if they step on his toes, like you said, he'll be fired, but then he's got smut on his name for some shit that he been tried to clear.
And I mean, either way, I think he's going to have to take the Ryan Pace route. He's going to have to go take a lower position and work his way back up the chain. I think that's the only way. Like Scott's point, if this fails,
he's fucked either way, because like even everything you're saying is if it's true. Like if let's say he comes down and he puts his resignation, he's not getting a GM job in the fucking winter. That's just not.
No, not right away, not right away.
I'm not
but
saying
also
like eventually he can't get there. But what I'm saying is you're not gonna leave this job right now, especially as a black man. I'd be joking. I'm also dead ass serious. GM jobs just don't come around for people, no matter how messed up the situation is. So he's got to find a way. And I don't know how much power he actually does have to make this the best situation. So if he does leave or if he does get fired, he can say, well, this is why I had to deal with him.
Right. But also, he also does have that ace in his hole, and we'll see it down the line. If his boy dips off and he ever needs a job, he could latch on to wherever Ian Cunningham goes.
Yeah, and I think that Ian Cunningham too is like, I don't think we know how good he is either. I'm also very interested in that. But let's go on to the guy who actually got the job. That is Mr. Thomas Brown, man. Thomas Brown was named the interim coach. I talk about Black history. This is ultimate Black history. You've never seen a nigga get 2 promotions in like 3 weeks. And he went from 3 weeks ago, he's pass game coordinator. Then he went to offensive coordinator. Now he's interim head coach. So I want to talk about his actual opportunity here because I actually hope they treat this as an actual opportunity and an actual job interview because it's the best job interview you could possibly have right here on the job training. There's a difference between somebody telling you what they can and can't do, what they would do in these situations in an interview compared to you actually see them do it. Now, obviously, 5 games isn't that big of a sample size, but it's going to have to be enough. So I actually hope that he has an actual opportunity here. I think he has an opportunity to galvanize his entire locker room, and it feels like they're behind him already. He had the support from the locker room to get this job. Me and Bang debated this off air when he said it's going to go to like Hightower or Washington. I was like, it can't. Like, you can't. It has to go to Thomas Brown, like, especially when it comes to Caleb. And I know there's some concerns about people saying, well, it's going to mess up Caleb. He's got to call plays on the sideline. I believe if you're a good play caller, you're a good play caller. Like, if we're really worrying about where on the field he sits, he might just not be that good of a coordinator to begin with. And one thing I will say about Caleb, which I think they said this perfectly on Rich Eisen yesterday, these situations he's in, he's going to be coming into a second head coach, maybe third head coach next year. And it can potentially damage him, but I think the talent is just too much for it to damage him. I think the way he's gone through this, he said this himself, has helped him out a lot. Despite the fact that he ain't supposed to be in this situation, he's still thriving through it. And so I think that it doesn't really matter. You're going to see whether he's a good play call or not. So I'm not really worried about that. But I hope he has a legitimate opportunity to go out there and finish on a high note. They're not making the playoffs. Let's be real about it. I think the last seed is going to either be a 10 or 11 win team. That ship is already sailed for the Bears. Go in there, finish it with some momentum, get the defense behind you, let the offense keep taking it to the next level. And if you're Thomas Brown, you're fighting for your job, really not just with the Bears, but with any teams. A lot of teams are looking at how he can put this together. And I'm not saying they're going to finish this way because I still only got them winning 2 games over the stretch. Let's say they finish 4-1. Or even better, 5-0. That's going to help them out. And I hope the Bears, the Bears are kind of like somebody said, I think it's my man Reese Rolex on Twitter. My man Reese said, I don't want them to just do peak Bears and just, bring him as head coach just because. And I'm like, yeah, peak Bears will also be that Thomas Brown goes out there and does great and let him walk out. And you just let the next Mike Tomlin walk out. So I really hope they're doing actual evaluation of Thomas Brown these next 5 weeks because it's a big, big opportunity for him. Dante, what you think about the opportunity for Thomas Brown these next 5 weeks?
I think it's big. Like we said, that's one of the reasons I really wanted him to get the full 5 as opposed to, playing around, keeping Flus all season. And then he just gets the token interview at the end of the year. So now, you have 5 full weeks. You have a real evaluation period where you can really see how he manages his team, especially with the expectations you had coming into this season with the talent that you have on the roster. Now you can see, okay, you've been given this. I know it's late. It's not the ideal situation, but let's see how you handle it. How you mitigate the issues we have and put out the best product every Sunday. So if he can get this team prepared and they look like, we've said Caleb has looked like a different player. If this team looks like a different football team, I think you have to, strongly, consider keeping Thomas Brown around. So I think the opportunity is amazing for both sides because with the Bears, this can, save a lot of time in the offseason whereas as opposed to going through the coaching hires, you already have your guy in-house, and now we go directly in the roster building. We go right into what we want to do. And I know you got, the Ben Johnsons and all the hot names out there. But like you said, Scott, I would hate for this guy to come in here these last 5 weeks, go, 4-1 or, just have the team looking completely different. And we just let him walk out the door and he goes somewhere else and has a great career. So there are some good options out there. You know, we had the whole leader of men talk, which is still scary to me because they said that a couple years ago, and so we know that don't mean much. So I think this is a situation where if I'm Thomas Brown, I'm gonna show you exactly why you should consider me to be the head coach. The same way you claim you loved my interview for offensive coordinator, but you hired Shane Waldron. So it's like it's the perfect scenario for them to really catch lightning in a bottle, and I'm just hoping that they take advantage of it.
Yeah, leader of men is some bullshit that only the Bears say. Like it's like a real football ass term. Like Diana Ruzzini said, what the fuck does that mean? Leader of men. I don't want to hear that shit, man. Like enough of the leader of men shit, man. Let's talk about the actual coaching search, which actually has already unofficially begun. I want to talk about these rumors, if you want to even call them rumors. I think it's just Mike Furio saying shit about the Bears actually being able to trade for a big name head coach, whether it's Sean McVay, whether it's Kyle Shanahan. Mike Furio brought that up, and he even said, I think it was on 670 Score. He also said that he talked to a coach. He was like, why wouldn't it be me? And he didn't say who the coach was. Maybe it was McVay. I don't know. I'll say this. I don't think there's any chance of that happening. I think McVay either comes back or he retires and, he goes into the booth and, stays in LA with his fine ass wife, respectively. I mean, respectfully. And Kyle Shanahan, I just don't think he's going to get fired. I think he's going to be, and the only thing I can see is he decides to leave because he doesn't want to, come back to a possible rebuilding situation, which is what the Bears could sneak in and, trade for his rights if he wants to still coach. But I think he's going to come back as well. But if there's an opportunity where, at least just check in, the worst you can say is no. We even talk about the Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff trade. The Rams just happened to call like, would you want to trade Matthew Stafford? People do check-in calls all the time. Worst thing they can say is no. Check in, see if those guys are available. And if they are, there's no amount of draft picks I won't trade to get one of those two dudes in. Because I look at the coaching search like this. I want to prove a name. I like Ben Johnson. I think Ben Johnson is a phenomenal play caller. I think he puts on masterclass in how to call a game. I don't know if he is a good coach. I don't know if he is the next offensive guru like a Sean McVay, like a Kyle Shanahan, like a Matt LaFleur. Or he could be a Matt Nagy. I don't know. I don't know. So there's question marks with him. Everybody is, everybody loves the Mike Vrabel idea. I personally don't like the Mike Vrabel idea. I personally, if I'm going to go with a guy, I'm going with the offensive guy. And not that I'm just it has to be offensive. I want to make things as easy as possible for Caleb, and that I don't have to worry about the offensive coordinator going to another team. And that's what I personally prefer. And I also don't trust the Bears to not only get the head coaching job right, but to get the offensive coordinator job too. I want to make this as simple as possible. Then. So I don't hate the idea of Mike Vrabel. I also don't love it. Marcus Freeman from Notre Dame. I know agents speak. That sounds like his agents is trying to get him more money. We usually this from college coaches when they're trying to get more money from the organization. I don't see him leaving as well. But none of these names really, really get me excited. And I don't really care. I just want them to get the right guy. But as far as McVay and Shanahan, I just give a call. And if that's an actual option, if you speak to either one of them and they say, yeah, I'd be interested in coming to Chicago and work with Caleb, I don't think there's any limit. Obviously, you don't want to go crazy, but I'm giving up premium draft capital to get a coach that caliber. And I'm very, very aware of the issues that the Bears still have roster-wise, man. Mikey, what do you think about the rumors with McVay and Shanahan? Are they legit? What would you do if you were in that situation? And just your overall ideas on the coaching search in general.
Yeah, I mean, I think like you said, you have to make that phone call. It doesn't hurt to make the phone call. At the very least, you say no. Last year teams were asking, or last year the Washington Commanders were asking if the Chiefs, if they would trade Patrick Mahomes for their pick. Obviously, that they're gonna give a no, but it doesn't hurt to ask. So I think 100% you call somebody like the Los Angeles Rams and Les Snead, and you see what's up with Sean McVay. I think you call John Lynch, and you talk to Kyle Shanahan's people and see, if there is an appetite to leave. But in the end, they're in a very tough spot because, like you said, whoever they hire next year, if it's not Mike Vrabel or Bill Belichick, right? And then some lower names that really I don't even want.
I've got you on, Mike. What? I want to talk about the Bill Belichick thing real quick. I'm gonna let you go to that. Bill Belichick is the greatest head coach of all time. But to me, bring him back. If the Bears hire Bill Belichick, I'm not going to be like, oh, this fucking guy with his 6 rings. Like, I'm not going to be like that. But to me, that would be like if Phil Jackson came back and says, you know what? I love what I see in John Morant. I'm going to come coach the Grizzlies. That would be my own. I think he's a little bit past his time.
It's Tony La Russa.
Yeah, right. It's Tony La Russa. That's exactly.
It's Tony La Russa.
He got a little more in the tank to be the La Russa, but yeah, I definitely agree with that. But go ahead.
No, yeah. So, like, when you look at the veteran names of coaches and you want somebody, I've been saying this. I know earlier, a couple weeks ago, you were more on the Ben Johnson, first time OC, fuck it. And now I think you kind of have like gone to like, I think we might need somebody that has done this before. There's not really much to pick from there. My short list, honestly, is Ben Johnson, Mike Vrabel, Dan Lanning from Oregon. But then when you start looking at that, the Chicago Bears do not have the big enough bag nor dick to go swing in Oregon in front of Phil Knight to let Phil Knight let Dan Lanning leave. He will come in.
That nigga Nike stock.
He's going to come in on his helicopter and some Kobe PEs that we've never seen, drop off a big bag of $100 million and jump back on his helicopter and leave. So, and that's the same with Marcus Freeman. The Bears cannot compete with Notre Dame when it comes to paying what it would cost to pull somebody like that. So I'm not even like entertaining that. In the end, for me, I agree with you. I want an offensive guy. When you look at that list, all of the offensive guys that are available this year will be first-time head coaches. Whether that's Thomas Brown, being retained full-time and that being the head coach they go with, this will be his first time as a head coach. Ben Johnson, this will be his first time as a head coach. The reason that I really like Ben Johnson is just because, I see a lot of people trying to do the comparison to Matt Nagy, and we don't want to get Matt Nagy. There's a big difference between the Chrysler 300 and the Bentley, okay? Matt Nagy was running Andy Reid's system and only called plays for 7 games. Ben Johnson has been running his system and has been calling plays for the last 3 years. This is his offense. When he gets to whatever team he goes to, he's running his offense. That's another thing that we're not even talking about with Thomas Brown. He's not running his offense. He's calling the plays and shortening it, but this is still the Shane Waldron playbook because he doesn't have enough time to go ahead and implement his full playbook. So for me, it's a tough spot. Now, if I'm one of these prospective head coaches, the Bears got to tell me why I should be with them. And I don't want to hear this shit that, we got Caleb and we're the most attractive job. We still have the dysfunction at the top, and it is showing more than ever this season and the last couple weeks. And I need to be sure that if I'm leaving Detroit, which is looking like a perennial contender, are you gonna do right by me? Is this act gonna get cleaned up? Because if not, I'll probably never get another head coaching job again if this fails. So there's a lot that's going on, and then there's just also the big elephant in the room that we haven't discussed. Head coaches that come into to new jobs every single year want their own GM. Who does Ryan Poles connect with that a good enough relationship that is going to make any coach feel safe when they come and take this job? Because you might be looking at something where Ryan Poles goes and free it.
Doesn't Poles got a relationship with Kyle Shanahan? Maybe I'm off, but
with Kyle Shanahan.
No, not with Shanahan. He has a relationship with Flores. They would call it
with Flores. Oh, Flores. He's got the relationship with Flores. So that's the thing. What guy is gonna attach their wagon to Ryan Poles, who might be a sinking GM? That's why I think it's imperative that they go ahead and give. If I think that was the one thing that we did learn is that Ryan Poles will be back next year. From the press conference Monday. Kevin Warren,
he was definitive with that. He said Ryan Poles is and will remain our general manager.
So he needs to put his money where his mouth is and go ahead and give Ryan Poles an extension and make it public right before they go ahead and hire these right before they go into this interview cycle, because that is going to be the one thing that comes out, like how many years are left on his contract and what's good with him, because if he gets fired, then I might be here next year with a whole nother guy and I might not be able to bring my guy next year the way I can now, so there's a lot of maneuvering. And like I said in the previous topic, the Bears have nobody to blame but themselves. They're in very, very muddy waters. They have a very bright future with Caleb Williams. I think Kyle Shanahan, I think Sean McVay will jump at the opportunity to coach him and be responsible for him for the next 10 years of his career, the next 8 years. But there's still a lot of uncertainty here. And, it's how you say, Scott, like, do I think they'll interview these people? Yes. Do I think they'll get it right? No.
Yeah, that's exactly how I'm looking at it. Dante, give me your thoughts on the coaching search, and then we'll preview the Niners game real quick.
1,000% I would trade for a coach. My God, it's more so. We don't trust them to make the right choice. Everything that can go wrong usually does go wrong for us. And so, also, I know I shit on this guy a lot, but look at a team like Denver, who gave away picks to get Sean Payton. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like, when you have the opportunity to get a guy who is a proven winner. And it's something that I know he's a talking head, so a lot of what he says is just for clicks. But Colin Cowherd made a good point when he was like, in the NFL, there are like 5 coaches that are like the rock star coaches. When you have them on your sideline, they're better than everybody else, and they put you in a position to win. That's just what it is. That's what it always is in the league. And so, if you have an opportunity to go at Kyle or at Sean, that's definitely something that you would do, because you're talking about 2 of the best offensive minds in the game, and you have an extremely unique talent at quarterback who's shown you the flashes season 1. Like, I can understand if this was something like Mitch or even like Justin, where it was some struggles and you weren't really sure. But we all know what Caleb is. We all know that this guy can be an elite quarterback. And so if you have the opportunity to get a head coach who's a proven winner, who has a proven offensive mind, I know a lot of people don't really care about offensive or defensive. I do, simply because of the talent you have and how unique he is. So I think this would be the perfect opportunity to, again, like we said, do what the Bears don't do, and combine him with an extremely gifted offensive mind and just let them go for the next 10, 12 years and see what we can really do with them. So for me, I would absolutely do it. We have a lot of picks. Of course, this would mean you spend money on the offensive line, and you would have to get those signings right. So that goes back into trusting Ryan Poles, and do you think he will make the right decisions and sign the right people? But for me, if they pick up the phone, we definitely gonna have a conversation. Like, I'm with Mikey. You got to at least call. Like, the worst they can tell you is no. They tell you no, you keep it moving, but you got to at least shoot your shot.
100%. And John Lynch said this today about Kyle Shanahan. I found the whole discussion on Kyle rather comical. We've won 4 of the last 5 division championships and been in 2 Super Bowls. The standard here is to win Super Bowls, and we've fallen short. I understand that, but we have an excellent head coach, and the fact people are talking about that, I do find it comical. To me, John Lynch is throwing out there the reasons as to why
he gonna get rid of that nigga.
No. Yeah, he throwing the reasons to me as to, hey, this is why you should call my phone. I just told you his resume.
Exactly.
But at the end of the day, people don't realize Kyle Shanahan hired John Lynch to be his GM.
100%.
So and that's another thing
too. It is what John Lynch just said. Like I told y'all, I've been sick the last couple of days, so I've been watching a lot of Succession these last couple of days. It's like that. Like one of the episodes on the final season where Roman, Shiv, and Kendall went to the Pierces, and Nan Pierce like, $8 million. I feel nasty about that. $8 billion, I feel nasty about that. And they're like, we're ready to go to 10. She was like, well, it gives me something to think about. That's how they negotiate. So basically, it may say like, hey, more respect to Cal. I ain't gonna just let him walk, but my phone open. That's what I got from that.
That's 2 first-round picks, a second, and then you giving Kyle $70 million. You know what I'm saying?
And if you're doing all of that, by the way, Now, I mean, because we got to move on. We got a lot to go into.
Yeah.
If you're doing all that, by the way, if I'm Kevin Warren, I'm telling Kyle this. Look, if you want another GM, we gonna give Ryan this year. But if this don't work out and you feel like this ain't a dude you can work with, we'll get your GM. Now, that's not gonna make Ryan Poles feel good. But when it comes to a coach of that caliber, and granted, I know he won a Super Bowl. I know he's part of the greatest Super Bowl collapse of all time. But still, that's kind of the vibe I feel Kevin Warren gonna be on.
You got to start making those.
The game is the game, though.
I don't think Kevin Warren's gonna be on no games. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's them under the table handshakes at this point.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I got from that, man. But let's move on to our last topic on the local hour, man, because we got a lot more to do. But we got an actual game we played this week at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, in California, the Bay Area. The Bears are playing the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco 49er team that is not the team that went to the Super Bowl last year or has been dominating these last couple years in the NFC. They are going to be without Nick Bosa. They're going to be without Trent Williams. Brock Purdy will be playing, but he has been off and on, come back from the injury. Big opportunity for the Bears. The Bears are also dealing with their own injuries now. We've had DJ Moore and Roshan Johnson and Elijah Hicks and Ryan Bates been out all week. DJ Moore did return to practice today in limited fashion. Him and DeAndre Swift are both questionable. Ryan Bates is out. Elijah Hicks is out as well. Now, I don't know the spread right now, but 4 days ago,
it's like
a 5.5 favor. I'm pretty sure that changed.
It opened after the game at 6.5 after Thanksgiving game, and then it went down to 4.5 after they got absolutely shellacked by the Bills. And right now it is my phone. Yeah, the Bears are a 3.5 point underdog. So it's a field goal. Basically,
field goal game. I said when we played Where's the Win? And if you hear a dog in the background, once again, I apologize. That nigga got a beef with the mailman. Ain't nothing I can do about that. But to me, this is a winnable game for the Bears. When the season first came out, when the schedule first came out, I said it's a loss. Now, we were wrong about a lot. If you want to laugh, go back and watch I'm Not Gonna Hold You Bears schedule. It's like that was recorded in another universe. That was in another Marvel universe that we did that episode. But I think it's a winnable game. I said on Where's the Winner? They were going to get 2 more, and I still believe they're going to get 2 more. I think that's going to start on Sunday. I think there's a new vibe. They could have won every game outside of the Arizona game, and I feel like new vibe. No, they ain't got an idiot calling plays, an idiot telling them what to do. I think the defense more than anything is going to be rejuvenated to go out there. I'm really interested to see what Eric Washington's scheme is going to be like. And I think this team's going to come out very, very aggressive. And I think there's an opportunity to pounce on the Niners right away. Also, no Christian McCaffrey. He's out for the season. Now, they do have a good backup, but he's out for the rest of the season. And I really feel bad for him because really started like he's going to start to heat up, especially in that snow game against the Bills. So that's going to be big for them as well. And I think that the Bears, they're going to I think it's going to be a big passing game for Caleb because you got DeAndre Swift. If he does play, he's not going to be 100%. Roshan is already out with a concussion. I think this might be one of the games where you see Caleb throw a lot. And I got him winning. I got him winning this week. I think it's going to be they're going to put up a lot of points. I think the defense is going to be aggressive. I think that you're going to see a more aggressive style of defense that Eric Washington called when he was in Buffalo. I think we're going to see a lot more blitzes. I think all the things we want to see, you're going to start to see more. And I think the offense is going to strike very, very fast. Not going to blow them out. I think it's going to be a big game. But I think the Bears are going to win this. So I'm going to go Bears 31-17 on Sunday. I feel confident about that. They eventually got to get a win. I think it starts this week. And if anything, they'll just have a little bit more mojo going into these final 4 games after this one. Dante, what you think about this game? Who you got?
Man, bro, I think this is one of those games where, like you said, it's the perfect time for them to get a win. You know, with the change of energy, with the change of head coaching, and just all of the staff and the big shakeup. But I'm still nervous, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. I still don't know what to expect.
Nervous just left my body a long time. I've given this season to God. Like,
Yeah, I mean, nervous in the sense that, like, even though I have high expectations and I want to see them do well for the sake of having my coach now and moving forward. We've seen the way these last few weeks have gone. But with that being said, I'm gonna pick the Bears to win too. I'm gonna go 27-17. I think Caleb has a big game. I know the Niners defense is still a very good defense. I know Fred Warner's out there on a fractured ankle still doing this thing. Bosa's out. So, less of a pass rush to worry about. But I agree. I think Caleb is going to have a great game. He's going to throw the ball well. And I think the defense, we'll see more blitz and we'll see a lot more movement from the linebackers, because we got really good linebackers. And a lot of times we just let them play in space. And I mean, I get that was a part of Flus's defense, but I think, like you said, with Eric Washington, you'll see Tremaine Edmonds blitzing more. You'll see him moving his linebackers around and really trying to get more pressure in there. And with our cornerbacks, we can, we can create turnovers. So I think with that being said, you'll see a different atmosphere, a different energy. And even though I'm nervous and I hate saying this, and me saying this probably means he'll get their ass smacked, but yeah, I'm gonna go 27-17 Bears.
Mikey, yeah. Close us out on the local. What you got?
Nah, I'm riding with y'all. Y'all know that I only had one win for them, and that was being the Seahawks game. But this is a completely winnable game. I think the Niners are a wounded dog, and the Bears are going to put them down. I have this game at 28-25 Bears. I think it's going to be a little bit of a little back and forth. It might be one of those witching hour games where it gets crazy, but I actually do think that the Bears end this game with the ball on offense already with the lead, and they find a way to bring home a dub. And it's just going to be ironic. Matt Eberflus never won a Sunday road game, and then Thomas Brown's first game as the interim head coach, he's going to win a road game.
That would be fucking hilarious, man. But that's what we got for the local out, man. We thought Bang would be back. Bang dealing with some shit. So hopefully we'll see him sometime in the show. We're going to take a quick 1-minute break. We'll be back on the other side. We're going to talk about last night's Thursday night football game, Op versus Op, Packers and the Lions. Give our thoughts on that. Go over a couple of the biggest storylines from this past week that we missed. And then we're going to have Larry Legend and Respected Culture, man. So we'll be right back in 1 minute.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not.
What's going on, y'all? We back. I'm not gonna hold you. Hour two, man. Got a lot to get into, man. Hope everybody's doing well. Let's talk about last night's Thursday night football game. Me and Dante here. Mike will be right back in a second. Yeah, just make a quick run to get his Chargers. We'll be back in just a second. But Monday night, not fun. My Thursday night football. By the way, I gotta say this about Thursday night football. We got some good games this year. Usually Thursday night football is the whack AFC South competition and things like that. Not this year. It has been much better this year. We've had a lot of good games, and last night was another good one in Detroit. The Lions won again, 34-31. This is their 11th win in a row over the Packers. Jared Goff, phenomenal, 32-41, 283 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. The running game was good as usual. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery doing what they do. In the defense deal they did as well, man. I'm just going to say this. I ain't got too much to say about this game outside of number one. I know until the Bears beat the Packers, I really can't say nothing about that team. But Jordan Love, I'm going to keep saying it. You do not fool me. I just don't think he is. I'm not going to say he's not good. I'm not. That's some meathead shit to say. He's a good quarterback. But he's not one of them ones, bro. We see it too much. Jared Goff has been one of the best career revivals we've ever seen. And it also shows that as great as the offensive genius that Sean McVay is, sometimes people mess up. Because Ben Johnson has gotten stuff out of Jared Goff that Sean McVay was never able to do. And I will say this about the Detroit Lions. And by the way, I had the Detroit Lions in the Super Bowl. That was my preseason pick. I said Chargers and Chiefs, not Chargers, but Lions and Chiefs. I'm still sticking with that. And I think top to bottom, and this even with all the injuries they've got, they're still not playing with arguably their best player in Aiden Hutchinson. This is a great team. And I think that, of course, it's the NFL. Any given Sunday, anything can happen. But anything outside of an actual Patrick Mahomes doing some Patrick Mahomes type stuff, I see no reason why this team can't or shouldn't win the Super Bowl. They're that good. I don't think there's anybody outside of Philadelphia that can beat them in the NFC, and they just do too many things well. Dan Campbell, even though I think he was tweaking on fourth down, I respect the play call. I love the aggressiveness, and I love how his team rides with him. But that's a double-edged sword. It can go well, but it can also fuck you, like it did in the NFC Championship game last year. So I love that. But the team rallies behind him. Ben Johnson is a chef's kiss. Phenomenal play caller. Aaron Glenn does a real good job of that defense. The running game is tremendous. And they just do everything well. The offense looks so pretty. And I feel like Philly can hang with them. I think Philly can beat them. But I don't trust Jalen Hurts to make the throws down the stretch that Jared Goff can. And I think that's the biggest thing. And if you haven't been to Ford Field doing this run of them being good, you're doing yourself, Patrick Mahomes type, aka the Dark Arts. Yeah, they're practicing devil magic.
Big Slytherin gang over in the Arrowhead.
Yeah, there's some nut shit going on.
He's over there. He's talking in pig Latin. He's over there doing the Doctor Strange maneuvers. Like he doing all of that. All that can 100% happen. And I've said this about the Chiefs. I picked them to 3-peat, and I'm gonna stay with it because I'm not having that L on my resume. If they lose, they lose. It's not gonna be because I picked them to lose. But Detroit is a team that is best equipped to beat them. They are, if you haven't been to Ford Field in the last 2.5 seasons, go. It is a hard place to play. Those fans were going there even when they were trash. It's loud up in there. It is a true home field advantage. And I know there's only one game separating them in Philly, so I'm not saying the roles go through Detroit yet. But that's going to be a hard place to play. And I hate to say this because they're the ops, but I love everything they're doing in Detroit. And I think that they can and they should win the Super Bowl this year. Mikey, what did you see from last night's game that stood out to you?
Yeah, I had text Germs. I was like, man, because Germs a Viking fan. He was actually rooting for the Packers just off the strength that the Vikings, could still kind of be in contention for the NFC North. And I was like, man, it looks fun over there. If I wasn't a Bears fan, I would 100% be rooting for these guys. Just everything that they do, they play with toughness. They truly do, live by their motto of playing with that Detroit grit. They run the ball extremely well. Jared Goff has just been a revelation, and I know you mentioned that, Sean McVay couldn't get out of him. I got to be honest, that was also, kind of, they were both learning at the time, young Sean McVay, but it kind of worked out for both teams. With all of those picks that the Lions got for Stafford, this is how they were able to build their team. They were able to sit there and work with Jared Goff. The Rams went and won the Super Bowl the very same year. So, it kind of worked out. But, Jared Goff he's just been, amazing. But, he will do shit like he did and tweak and give you one. I have no idea what he was doing on that interception. But, from the Packers side, I just think that they need to continue to be kind of a run first team and run through Josh Jacobs. I think Josh Jacobs looks great. He was wearing down the Lions defense, and he's almost automatic touchdown when he gets within that 5 yard range in the goal line, similar to David Montgomery. Jordan Love got away with some bullshit per usual, the throwing off the back foot. I think Christian Watson had a very big reception over on the left sideline in front of Carlton Davis, but it was also, a half of an inch away from being tipped, and that's just how the game goes. But, I thought the Packers did show some resolve. They were fortunate enough to take, to get the interception on the Lions side of the field and convert, punching in for 7. And then they were fortunate enough to stop the Lions, on fourth down and go ahead and score some more points. But in the end, I it's crazy, but I trust Jared Goff and the Lions to go ahead and move the ball downfield in late game situations and and get the job done. I agree with you though. I would love to see them in Philly. I think Philly has a good rotation of pass rushers that can continuously get after Jared Goff and make things uncomfortable. But man, like they're just a well-oiled machine, man. And you know what's crazy is it's not like they weren't this good last year. They just really tweaked, and they just really tweaked in that NFC Championship game.
Definitely. Dante, what'd you think from last night's game? What stood out to you?
That's one thing we did get right in the preseason preview is that the Detroit Lions are really fucking good, bro. I think this is the best team in football. I know we, aren't going to aren't going to, pick against the Chiefs until we see them actually lose it. But nah, bro, I think the Lions are really good on both sides of the ball. They have an aggressive defense. I think they lead the league in defensive pass interference at like 17. But, you see that team fight all 4 quarters, and it really gives them, they're always going to be in the game. And with that offense and with the way that Dan coaches that team, they're always going to be in the game, and they're always going to have an opportunity to win. And this is one of the reasons why I said earlier, Ryan Poles really has to nail his head coaching pick, because this is a team that, and we saw yesterday on display, 2 well-coached football teams. Jordan Love, we crack our jokes about how shaky he is, but like even with the ducks that he throws, occasionally throughout the game, he still is able to keep Green Bay in these games and put them in a position to win. And it was a close game. It was a really good game. But, say what you want about Dan and his decisions to go for it on 4th down. This is exactly why, he had no problem doing this in the NFC Championship, because throughout the regular season, it does work. It's just, I would hate for him to become one of those coaches where it always fails in, the most inopportune times. And, that's what started to happen with Staley in LA. And then it just gradually just declined. Now, obviously, this team is much more talented and much more well put together. And, man, Detroit is going to be tough to beat for anybody. And we talked about it before the season. Them having all these home games, not even all the home games, all these indoor games, yeah.
Where
that offense
climate,
do what they want to do, bro. It's going to be tough.
And just to piggyback off of your earlier point, Dante, they're coached really well. And even if Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn leave, their principles will remain their principles. And Dan Campbell is still a very good coach and will have his guys bought in. So they're not going anywhere anytime soon.
And that's why you got to get the right guy, too, because Dan Campbell was laughed at when he got hired. I mean, this meatball or what? What was that introductory speech? And I look, and I'm with you, Mike. If they were not in our division, I would be a massive Lions supporter. Like I said, I love Detroit, my family out there, great people out there, but they the ops, though. I'm going to be doing a lot of hate watches next month. I'm going to be doing a lot of I am wishing death on the Vikings, the Lions, and especially I will root for the devil himself over the Green Bay Packers. So it is, you already know how it is. But if we going on least hate levels, it's Packers up here, huge gap. Vikings, and then it'll probably be the Lions, because they're building what the Bears want.
Right. My gambling mind doesn't allow me to hate teams as much as I once did, unless we're actually playing them every other week of the season. My bread, they were only 150 on the money line yesterday. Lions, you know what I'm saying? Oh, Vikings versus Cardinals. Vikings this week versus Falcons. But that's just my mind. But yeah, they're fucking legit, man. They're legit.
Definitely, man. Let's go on to a couple topics that we missed in our unexpected 11 days off because I got sick. I want to talk about the Ravens, man, because the Ravens lost a very close game on Sunday to the Philadelphia Eagles. Great game. I'm worried about this team. For the first time, it has nothing to do with Lamar Jackson. And for those of you who missed my tweet that went under the radar, and I did not delete it, so you can search it. I gave Lamar's props. I couldn't. The Charger game is where I gave up. There was some throws in there that nigga was making. And I was like, okay. I would still like to see in the playoffs. I'm not going to back off that. But the nigga's elite. Now, definitely it's funny that it took 2 MVPs for me to say this and possibly a third. But I don't think the issue with this team is Lamar Jackson. He's the last one that worries. That defense is god awful. I didn't even know who the defensive coordinator was until I saw he was a young nigga when I watched Hard Knocks. I was like, okay, I understand. I get why this defense stinks. He's like, he just retired yesterday. You know what I'm saying? He said, props Lamar. Ain't even February. Yeah, you hilarious. But you got that. And John Harbaugh got to be taken out back. I'm sorry. They got to old yellow this nigga. Like, enough. Enough of John Harbaugh, bro. Lamar's actually saved his job the last couple years. Justin Tucker, hey, the GOAT, amazing kicker, bro. But it kind of reminds me of Robbie Gould. Maybe a change of scenery would do him better. There's a lot of Bears fans out there who act like the Bears wrongfully got rid of Robbie Gould. No, he was huffed
terrible
for 2 years. He went to San Francisco, got new life. They might have to do the same thing for Tucker because he's going to cost them some games, bro. And if you look at the teams that they faced, they only beaten, haven't really beaten the heavy hitters. I'll give them the Bills win, but that was early in the season before the Bills became what the Bills are, before Josh Allen went on his MVP run. I'm concerned about it when it comes to playoffs because too many times they forget they've got an unstoppable dude like Derrick Henry in the back. And too many times they want to take away Lamar's legs. Use that in collaboration with his arm, and that's going to be a tough team to beat. And last year was their shot. People had to come to Baltimore. You're going to have to go on the road right now. You're in danger of not only not having a home game, because you might not win the division. They're in trouble of not even making the playoffs altogether. I think they might be in a pretenders bracket. Dante, what you think about what you've seen from the Ravens? Are you worried about them actually having a shot this year?
Yeah, I am, and I'm with you. I would hate to waste another amazing season by Lamar. And it's the defense. It's the defense that's really an issue. Roquan hasn't looked like the Roquan Swift we all know. A lot of Bears fans trashed us for saying, you can't give one linebacker $100 million when you can get two. And this is why, because no matter how much of an impact player he is, it takes a lot for that defense, to really be at its best. And right now he isn't playing well and they aren't playing well. They've had, some injuries, but more than anything, they just underperformed. Eddie Jackson was a poor signing. He got released. So now you're trying to, fill a hole on the back end of that defense. And it's to a point now where no matter how amazing that offense is, when you need to get a stop, you can't get a stop. And so for me, I would definitely be concerned. I think at times, you still see those moments where they lose their identity on offense. Lamar, I understand, you don't like a lot of the stereotypes that have been thrown at you, but dog, you got to go, just use your legs, do what you got. And they struggle to do that at times. So it's tough right now, but I think I'm definitely concerned, and I think they're leaning more toward pretender than contender.
Mikey, what you think about the Ravens?
Yeah, man. We've been saying it. They're a well-oiled machine in the playoff or all regular season. They're going to get to the playoffs, but it's going to be on Lamar and the Ravens to go ahead and show us in the playoffs what they can do if they can get over that hump. Their defense is probably the worst that I can remember in a very long time. But it's going to come down to Lamar, making plays through the passing game in the playoffs, because we know they're going to find ways to take away Derrick Henry. We've seen it when he was with the Titans and he would play the Ravens. They would take away, Derrick Henry and force Tannehill to try to beat them. So, right now it's just, and let's be real. We just gave, the Eagles their props. The Eagles are a very tough team. They have everything there. So the Eagles are better than the Ravens on the pecking order, regardless for me. So they ran into a difficult matchup, and it's going to be interesting to see who they match up with. But I know they definitely don't want to see somebody like the Steelers in the playoffs because, they definitely have their number.
Yeah, and honestly, it was a good game against them. I wouldn't want to see the Chargers or the Broncos in the first round. Like,
nope.
They can beat either team. They can also be beat. Like, I don't want to see Herbo at all. I don't want to. I'm glad. I'm going to be so excited to see Herbert in the playoffs without an idiot on the sideline. Like that. I've been a Herbert truther since day one. But let's actually stay on the Eagles. I want to talk about Saquon Barkley. We all know but MVP is a quarterback award. But I think we have to talk about maybe what can happen for Saquon down the stretch for him to actually have a legitimate shot to get. I think he's obviously going to be named as a finalist, obviously, but he's got 5 more games left. And let me see. Yeah, they got about 5 more games left. He's got 14. He's 1 yard and 1,500 yards off 246 carries. He's already got 11 rushing touchdowns. Imagine how much more he would have if they didn't do the tush push at the goal line all the time. I think that he has legitimate shot to win it. I personally would give it to him. And y'all know I love Josh Allen. 9 times out of 10, they're gonna give it to Josh Allen because it's not Patrick Mahomes. What Lamar's doing is great, but Lamar's won it twice already. I'm not saying it's right, but you know that voter fatigue crap. And the way that Josh Allen is doing it with, I want to say his least talented team, but it's definitely not as talented as the other rosters he's had. They're probably going to give it to him. But Saquon is going to get, unless he gets hurt, I believe it's going to get 2,000 yards. He's taken this offense to another, I don't say to another level because they've already been good, but he just adds a special element to where all the pressure isn't on Jalen Hurts. You know what I'm saying? And it makes Jalen's job easier. And not to say their run game beforehand wasn't good. It was good when they had DeAndre Swift out there. And who's my man who was he was playing in Carolina before. His name escaped.
Miles Sanders.
Miles Sanders. But he's a game changer. And how close that game was between Baltimore went to another level. They blew it. They ran away when Saquon realized who he was. And that to me is why I feel like if you're a voter, you got to take that into account. I know this is an MVP award, but Mikey, what chances do you give Saquon to have a legitimate shot to win this one?
Well, right now, Josh Allen is the leader for the MVP at -220. That means if you throw for Scott, because you don't know, if you throw $220, you only win $100. So next up, second is Saquon Barkley plus 350. Throw 100, you get 350 plus your 100 back. And then after that, it's Lamar at a little further, Jared Goff at plus 800. So right now, what the bettors are saying and what the market is saying is that the 2 best players throughout the season have been Josh Allen and Saquon Barkley. I think it's going to take Josh Allen to have maybe. You remember last year, Lamar and Brock Purdy at Christmas were basically neck and neck, and that was what decided, who was MVP. That Lamar performance, and yes, right. So I think we're at that point right now with Josh Allen. Maybe if Josh Allen were to have a couple games with maybe 2 picks, maybe a couple tweaked Josh Allen performances, and it doesn't look as pretty as it is, and Saquon, keeps that train moving, and he does get that 2,000 yards. I think we can see it get closer. But honestly, it's a quarterback award. The league has been fiending for Josh Allen to be playing at this level and to, cement himself as one of the upper echelon quarterbacks. And I think that they won't hesitate to give it to Josh Allen. The award right now that looks like it's a lock for Saquon is Offensive Player of the Year. He's the overwhelming favorite with Derrick Henry behind him. I think he's gonna win that. So for me, it's like, well, if he's good enough to win Offensive Player of the Year, his numbers warrant being MVP. So I've harped on this for a while. They just need to make Offensive Player of the Year or the best. If they just need to make the best quarterback of the year award, and save MVP for real people, because there have been years where we've seen defensive edges, Myles Garrett, T.J. Watt, J.J. Watt, players, running backs, Derrick Henry with the Titans, that are more than deserving to be MVP, and they just don't get it. So it's just the way that it's set up. But I think he has a really good chance if Josh Allen could tweak a little.
Dante, man, what would you put? I know you said the same thing we all said earlier in the season. Like, he ain't got no shot at quarterback award. What do you think about his chances with like a month left in the season?
Still same. He don't have a shot. It don't matter what he could do unless he get on his buddy from Boise State and he's just going crazy every game. I don't think there's a chance that they give it to him. That's really where it's at for running backs, receivers, anybody that's not a quarterback right now when it comes to winning MVP. It's unfortunate because it's similar to why he didn't get paid in New York. People just don't give running backs their credit. He can be 70-75% of the offense, and people are always going to look and talk about the fucking tush push and Jalen Hurts and all of that. So I think it's one of those things where Saquon's definitely having an amazing season. It's been great to watch because, it's rare that you really tune in, these days. you tune in and expect the running back to go crazy. But like now, we really tune into these Eagles games and we say, what is Saquon gonna do today? And so that's something that should be rewarded. But I mean, that's just the way the game is these days. So I think he don't have a shot in hell. It don't matter what happens. They'll find a way to give it to a different quarterback. They just not gonna give it to Saquon.
Definitely. This next one we ain't got to spend too much time on, but Azeez Al-Shahir, he is I think he's linebacker for the Houston Texans. He got suspended 3 games. He appealed the suspension. Suspension got held up very quickly. For knocking Trevor Lawrence clean out. Like knocked that boy clean out to the point where he had to lead the game. A little kerfuffle ensued, which last weekend was squabble weekend in football, not just in the NFL, but in college. And I just want to say this about flag planting. If you plant a flag, you should be ready to squabble. I'm sorry. That's why I'm at with it. If you don't want to squabble, don't plant the flag. That's just why I'm at it with that. So there was a little squabble with this. We had the general manager for the Texans say, "Oh, well, I feel like it's a little strong." He's looking out for his guy. I would usually say it's strong, but he did the same thing in Chicago. I mean, against Chicago week 2. And I think that was an issue. Trev is out for the rest of the season. He's going to have shoulder surgery. And I think that the NFL had to send a message. So I personally have no problem with it. Dante, you got a problem with the suspension? Was it too long to you or no?
No, it's just fine. It's just fine, bro. You can't do that. You just can't do that. And I think it's really the extension of the forearm is why they gave him the games. Trevor slid, and you have some people who have the argument, QBs have weaponized the slide. They slide late, they do fake slides and all of that. But at the end of the day, those are the money makers, and that's what the league is protecting, and that. So the second you saw him going down, even if you try to, I don't give a fuck, you athletic enough, try to jump over him, grab him, something like that. But the way he did that, I'm fine with him getting 3 games. And, a lot of people don't want to go into their talks about, oh, well, you give people 2 games for domestic violence. And let's just, come on. In this situation here, I think 3 games is appropriate for the action and for everything that happened afterward. Because remember, they had the little scrum, and then he took his helmet off and tried to fight somebody else. So he was doing a lot. So it's like, all right, we're gonna nip this in the bud right here. So I didn't have a problem with it.
Definitely, man. Let's move on to Aaron Rodgers. By the way, y'all see that trailer for that nigga? Like who wants to watch this? This Aaron Rodgers on a life mission Netflix documentary. Like nobody wants to see that, man. But sounds like Woody Allen is throwing this nigga out the house. So basically, there's gonna be no chance of him coming back as Jets quarterback. He said on Pat McAfee he wants to come back, but even if he can't, he wants to. Y'all be wild in the comments, man. I just gotta say that. Y'all be wild in the comments, yo. Some of this stuff we can't put on the screen. But
and I was just about to say you wild because you said Woody Allen and not Woody Johnson. But that's the comments are way worse.
Same
way
thing.
Worse. Way
it
worse.
Might be the same thing. It might be the same thing. But Woody Johnson, my bad. He's going to become a prime minister or something, going to work for Trump again. But where's the options here, man? Like, Mikey, do you see any where do you think he can go? Like, obviously he's falling off, but there's a lot of quarterbacks worse than Aaron Rodgers right now. What do you think could be the next step for him?
I think he could go to Minnesota. I think he could go to San Fran. I think he can go to the Raiders. I think he could go to the Giants, and that's about it. Do I think he goes to any of those places? No. I honestly think the league tells him, we're going to give you a 1-year deal, minimal QB offer, and that's it. You just look at him. He's a 40-year-old man trying to come off a lower leg injury. Doesn't look the same. He's just not moving the same. And he's an asshole. Who the fuck wants to deal with him? Wherever he goes, it's just going to be a 1-year type of thing. I mean, what is precluding the Giants from going and giving a bag back to Sam Darnold? What is,
that's a good point. I agree with that. Yeah.
Sam Darnold is going to be the most coveted. He's going to be the most coveted quarterback this free agent, period. And there are enough teams that need quarterbacks, especially this is not a good quarterback class. Shador will probably be the first QB taken, and all of the rest of them, Cam Ward, these are people that can still benefit from probably sitting. It's not going to be a year like this year or the one with, Trev and or the one before that with Herbert and Tua. This isn't that type of year. This is a bad year for QB. So Sam Darnold's going to get paid, and maybe Aaron Rodgers could get paid. I mean, it all also depends, who some of these coaching hires are, and how they feel about him and all of that stuff. But, I honestly think we're seeing the end of him. I know he had intentions of playing in 2025, but he looks like shit. And I don't know if he wants to take a beating. And I honestly don't think people are going to want to put up with his shit.
Yep, I definitely agree, man. One last topic, then Mikey gonna take a little break, and we're gonna bring Lero in, man. Bryce Young. Bryce Young look like he's showing some life, ladies and gentlemen. Bryce Young is looking like he is showing some life. Had a pretty good performance. Probably had the game won this past Sunday against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Before that, he had a good chance to win that game against Kansas City, but he is showing some life. He's throwing with confidence, and it finally looks like you're seeing flashes of the guy that they drafted a couple years ago. And I'm just happy for him because, even though Panther fans wish death on Bears fans, and I don't care what the record is for the Bears, I wouldn't trade anything with y'all. And y'all wouldn't either. Like, let's just, as bad as it's been for us, you still, for everybody out there doing their redrafting, I see y'all on ESPN. Stop lying.
Mental fucking illness, bro.
Stop lying.
Wasting time.
Y'all still taking 18, bro. I don't care how much Washington loves Jaden Daniels. If you take the general manager in the room, give him a polygraph test, he gonna say he draft 18. Let's just keep it a fuck.
Daniel Jeremiah came out and said, listen, we redrafting right now. I've seen even more from Caleb Williams that would lead me to, to take him number one. And if we're just being honest, look at the stats, the number stats, right? Look at the stats, right? If you look at the stats between the three, Caleb, Jaden, and Bo Nix, right? They're all pretty much the same. And Bo Nix has Sean Payton, Jaden has Cliff Kingsbury, and a whole better operation with Dan Quinn. And Caleb is still right there. So just give him a guy, fine tune some things, and I think next year is gonna be a breakout year. As long as his health is fine, I think he's gonna have one of those years. And a lot of people are used to kind of seeing people hit in year one. But back in the day, Dan Marino, he ain't popped till year two. Trey Aikman didn't pop till year two. Peyton Manning, year two. Like, I'm seeing enough in year one to be like, he's not the problem.
Bro, he's probably gonna finish with 20 touchdowns, like 6 or 7 picks, and 30. Well, he might get 4K. Like
he might.
And with all the stuff he's dealt with. So I say that to say this: Bryce Young, he's looking like he's figuring it out, and I'm loving what I'm seeing. Because he was just getting killed. People were making fun of him from his girlfriend leaving him for Shador Sanders. I'm just happy for a fellow member of the untaught community to do his thing, man. We're gonna bring Lero in a minute, but Dante, quickly give me your thoughts on what you've been seeing for Bryce Young, and then we're gonna let Mikey take a break, and we're gonna bring Lero in.
It's really been the confidence, bro. This is what we all talked about. He looked lost out there when he was really struggling, and now he's at a point now where he looks like a guy who was drafted number one. Everything we saw at Alabama, all the success he had. It was a situation where we like, damn, bro, there's no way in hell that he didn't forget how to play football. So, we talked about the development of younger quarterbacks and, the way teams will just throw them out there, not put enough assets around them. And with Bryce, that certainly was the case, but now it's getting better. And he's shown that, with the break that they gave him, to step back, he's shown why he was the number one pick. He's played really well. He's thrown some great balls and been really, bro, it sounds crazy, but over the last few weeks, he's been one of the best quarterbacks in the National Football League. And so, it's dope to see another young quarterback putting up numbers. And, everybody loves to have a negative attitude about where the game is going from a quarterback standpoint. But Bryce is another guy that, you crack your jokes all you want. You want to see him succeed. You want to see these young dudes get better and continue to improve. So I've loved what I've seen from him. And I mean, it's definitely a bonus for Carolina because, you finally, after you give away your second round pick this year, you finally had an opportunity to go and do some things yourself and see what you could do.
Definitely, man. Mikey, we're gonna let you take your 20. Take a real quick break, man. We're gonna bring in the homie Larry Legend, comedian Larry Legend, our culture correspondent, and the host of this great segment that we have called Respect the Culture here on the Barbers Chat Network on I'm Not Gonna Hold You, man. You can follow him at Larry is Legend on all social media platforms. Larry Legend 1 on Instagram, man. Larry, man, how you feeling, brother?
Oh, I'm good, man. I can't complain, man. Another day, another dollar. You know how it go.
How was I know we late on this because we've been off there for 11 days because somebody got sick. How was your holiday?
It was good, man. I actually did some old dad shit. I took my daughter to for Thanksgiving. I took her to Disney World.
Oh,
So
that's fine.
a lot of that. That's what I've been on. I'm trying to get my life back in order and get back acclimated with the real world because I was in fantasy world for so long. So
One thing about Disney World, she would definitely remember that trip ever. I went to Disney World in '98, and I still remember going to '98.
oh yeah.
So I had a good time out there, man. But man, we here to talk about all the stuff going on in the culture these last couple weeks. A lot has happened since the last time we've had you on.
Yeah.
Mr. Kendrick Lamar, King Kendrick, he is keeping his foot on hip hop's throat. He dropped a surprise album. He's announced a tour. He's done a whole bunch of stuff over these last couple weeks. Did 319 last week in his debut week with no hard copy. I just want to say people who, of course, Larry, obviously, music industry stuff. No physical copies, no bundles, which a lot of niggas use, and they bundles thing. Travis Scott, I'm looking at you. No bundles, none of that. No promo, no lead up single. You go out there and do 319 strictly off streams and digital downloads. And then second week did 163. That's really, really good. And then announced a tour, his first ever stadium tour, man. First of all, tell me these last couple weeks that you've seen in Kendrick and closing out the year strong. The Super Bowl performance is about 64 days away. Tell me how you feel about Kendrick closing 2024 the way he's been doing it.
Well, I mean, I had to put on my red hat on some TDE shit, but I feel like we've been in this for a long time, me and you, Scott, and it's a few other people who we know that's been down.
Day one dot guys,
man. So you know how we feel. This is taking my bias out. I'm not gonna be just super fanning, but this is a master class of how to capitalize on a moment. Kendrick has been an artist that's been always been heralded as one of the best artists out. He also has been, he gets crazy awards, he gets crazy recognition, yada yada yada. But he also one of them guys who only drop every 2 or 3 years. Most of my favorite rappers or favorite artists in general are kind of the same as him. He don't do a lot of interviews. He did the interview this year with SZA. He don't do a lot of videos for real, not like the flurry he gave us. He gave people exactly what they wanted from him this year. And I think that if anything, all other rappers could take note of how to do this. Now, I do know it's some plays that have been in the making for a while, even with the Soldier Field, the Super Bowl stuff. I'm sure that play has been going on, and those talks have been going on for a minute, at least since he's dropped like that. But for it to be, it was just a great time to strike. It was a great time to just show that who he was. And I feel like this is really great for hip hop in general and for all us Kendrick fans who knew who he was from jump. So to see him being able to do something that we never really get to see. We don't get to see rappers doing stadium tours for real. And it's just him and SZA. Hopefully, I really pray maybe Doechii could open up for them.
Yo, shout out to Doechii. Her Tiny Desk is crazy.
Yeah, she going crazy.
I didn't even see the whole thing yet. I only seen a clip, but
and you got to give love to Top, man. Top, I feel like one of the few moguls, and I don't feel Top gets the respect he deserves, who still does artist development, bro. You can tell she's a trained performer. And I think they asked her was she gonna open on Breakfast Club, and she just had a smile on her face. I think that probably, maybe not for the full tour,
but some show,
a couple dates probably.
Yeah, she to me, that's a whole nother conversation about Doechii. I think she's I was just thinking in the car on my way here because I heard like 3 or 4 Glorilla records on the way, and I'm like, man, it's a nice crowd for the female rappers right now. But the top, I say 4 is Doechii, Glorilla, Doja Cat, and Lotto have been running the game right now. But people are really waking up to Doechii right now. I think she's super crazy. I actually like stop and listen to her stuff when she drops. So I'm a big fan of her. But with the Kendrick thing, like we could talk about Doechii because of what he's done, and like you said with the TDE thing, they are really great at developing artists. And I hope his relationship with them does bring her on there for that tour. Did y'all know that one song was hers? It's like a pop song. I fucking forgot the name of it though, y'all. But that's just how raw Doechii is. I just have to say that because the girl, I'm gonna find the song and I'm gonna mention it once I find it. But I'm really excited about everything going on. I don't even know what else to expect. Is he coming out with another album?
Well, from what I've heard from very reliable sources, who've been right time and time again, that he's got more coming. Now, I don't know if that's a album. Who's the Mexican homie who was on not Doty, the other guy? He said I think he let it slip as a deluxe. And Kendrick doesn't do stuff not on, like, everything he does is intentional. The song you heard in the GNX trailer is not on the album. There's 2 cars in the GNX trailer for a reason. In the Squabble Up video, they got the Isaac Hayes. That album cover is a double disc. The Nate Dogg album cover they got is a double disc. I think that there's another disc coming later on, maybe a deluxe. Maybe he drops that before the Super Bowl, around the Super Bowl, but there is more coming. But when I think about this year for Kendrick, Lefty Gunplay is what's his name. He said it was gonna be deluxe. But and even I think DJ Head and Ab Soul did like an IG live, and they both kind of like, yo, the homie got more coming. To me, when I think about this year for Dot, I forgot who tweeted this, but it's right. I feel like if somebody found Dot in like 2009, 2010, it's like somebody who knew what Bitcoin was around that time. Like I feel like I'm getting everything, and it's been a rough couple years for Dot fans, man, because we've been like, a lot of people, he don't trap a lot, he leaving y'all hanging, and he showed everybody. When I think about the top years of hip hop, since I've been listening, it's a couple years to stand out to me where artists just body. You got 96 Pac, you got 98 DMX, you got 0350, you got 08 Wayne, you got 2018 Drake, you know what I'm saying? 2015 Future. Like those type of runs, I think, like, and what's crazy about Kendrick's run, and when Damn came out, he was selling more records. But it feels like he's never been bigger. And I think he's no doubt the MVP. And I think it's poetic justice for it to come on a stadium tour. I think that, a lot of people got to put some more respect on SZA's name. She is a multi-platinum artist. Her last 2 albums both did 3 million. I don't know if y'all know anything about streaming. It takes a lot of streams just to go a million sold now.
Hey.
And I think that's perfect person to rock with them.
Hey, I got a question. When she dropped her last album, was it before the Grammys?
I think it was. Because
before. I know she dropped her first single 2 years before she dropped the album, and it was in December. Yeah. People don't really drop heavy records in December, bro. So like, to just to say to her status is really up there. Like the way she able to drop kind of when she want to, in a way, or they drop whenever they want to, and she still is running the charts. She's still selling the most records. Like she's going crazy.
Yeah, he's going nuts. Dante, what do you think about this year from that?
I mean, it's been amazing to see. It's for somebody who doesn't pop out. He really, is usually in the house and really just secluded, and is an old school artist. Like Larry said, he's one of those guys who, until he gets the feel for it, he's not gonna really just come out here and create. Like a lot of guys who will just sit there and flood the industry with content for the sake of making money. That's never been Kendrick. But I mean, everything he's done since the start of the beef has been, like you said, it's like he's been playing a different game. It's like he's playing chess where everybody else is playing checkers. And so, and DJ Head said this on the show that he has with Elliott Wilson. When you really think about it, this is the perfect time for him to really up his production, because there's going to be a lot of stuff going on in LA and in the West Coast over the next, 8 years. In 2 years, you got the World Cup. In 4 years, you got the Olympics. There's a lot of stuff going on. And, with him being, the biggest artist in rap right now, is really an opportunity for him to position himself to be at the forefront of a lot of that. And so I think, this has been, like you just said, just a master class. And it's been great to see as somebody who I'm actually talking to the homies who put me on Kendrick right now. But I first started listening to Kendrick when I was in school. The Look Out for Detox freestyle.
Yeah.
He just went insane. And so seeing his development from there, and like you said, even mentioning Scissor, you really got to shout out TDE because they're a label that they don't rush the product. Like they put it out when it's ready. We waited years for Schoolboy's next album. Obviously, with him dealing with the loss of Mac Miller, his best friend, and everything, he took his time with that. But just seeing the way that they create and their attention to detail and their love for the art, that's something you really got to appreciate because nowadays
they love for each other, man. Like the Heart Six as a day one TD guy made me like I was in tears from folks and them. Listen to that song, bro.
Yeah, it's a great song, bro. And like you've seen the way that they work, and like with the fact that we always talk about how people have now taken the art and it's a cash register. It's like, okay, I want to get rich quick, make a couple of dollars, and get out of it. Not to knock them, but one person who's a prime example of this is like Lil Yachty. Like Yachty's very much a commercial. I'm doing this for the money. I don't give a fuck about art kind of guy. And, TDE, it seems like everybody on that label is the exact opposite. Like that's not why they do this. Like obviously they've had the success so they see the money, but it's truly about the art. And so like this year has been a hell of a run. And I'm excited to see what they keep doing. Cause I do think now that he's, he don't do it for the fame, but now that he's gotten this energy and this response from the culture of everybody saying, nah, bro, we rocking with you. We really want you to keep doing this. I want to see what he does next.
And I sound like old head when I say this. I feel like, old heads look at like LeBron or somebody like he doing it right. You know what I'm saying? Like he doing it right, man. I love people not just in music, but just anything you do, respect the craft. And I'll say this about the tour, and then we're going to the next topic. By the way, I'm going to the LA and Chicago shows. I don't have my ticket yet because Ticketmaster be some hoes, but I will have one. Let's be very clear. I will be going to one of them 3 LA shows and the Chicago show. You're gonna be having, but. Somebody in Soldier Field let it slip. Somebody worked there, let it slip. Me and my brother knew 2 weeks ago. We were the game was over. We going upstairs to the press box, do our podcast, and we in the elevator, and it was just a random worker. I don't know who this person was. It was like, oh yeah, we got different events. It's gonna be a big one because K-Dot coming in summer. It's gonna be a big summer. Me and my brother looked at each other like, excuse me? Like, what are y'all talking? I was like, I'm like, nah, she must have talking about the Super Bowl because he doing stadiums. So then when I saw it came out, I'm like, oh, she let it slip. But let's talk about the guy who hasn't been having the best 2024, despite the fact that everybody has him on their Spotify streams. Well, I think if you're Spotify, I'm going to them hearings like, well, nigga, did we boost yours?
Right.
You want everybody rap, nigga. But certified lawyer boy, as I like to call this nigga, he has 2 petitions out there claiming that UMG and Spotify help boost Not Like Us and make the song more popular than it really is. I've given my opinion on this show, on Summer Sessions. Larry, I'm gonna give you the floor, man. What you think about this?
I think that Drake has lost his mind. I don't know if when he got his hair cut, he got a piece of his brain cut out too, but this is not good. I just felt like when you lose, just take your L and keep going. This whole what's the lawsuit exactly?
So it's not even a lawsuit yet. It's a petition to try to get information so he can figure out who he has to sue. Now I don't know if a date has been set. I saw a Twitter page tweet that a date has been set for December 20th, but I don't know if this account is right or anything. I haven't seen anything Hollywood Reporter or anything like that. But basically, he sees something fishy. And he wants the courts to get UMG to produce, I guess, like their receipts and stats and how they got this stuff so he can figure out if he has grounds to sue. But if you read the petition, he sourced people like academics, people who came on Academics show. Even Academics himself said after he had the guy who came on that claimed that, he somebody from TD or from PG Lane gave him 3 racks for 30 million streams. If that's how much 30 million streams cost, I pay that. Exactly. So even Ack was like, I ain't gonna lie. I talked to my other guy, Spotify. He's saying those streams are real. So it's gonna be kind of hard to even get that. And he wants kind of like an audit kind of. So that's basically what that is. And the defamation petition is he's saying that y'all were in cahoots with Kendrick to get me out of here, and I'm your biggest selling artist. Is pretty much what that is.
And he thinks that and it's something to do with him renegotiating his deal, correct? Too.
Yeah, I think that's the big motive because he's not suing Kendrick. He's not trying to sue Kendrick. This is a beef between him and UMG.
He basically saying they trying to suppress him so they can lowball him on his next offer.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Well, I mean, the last 4 or 5 albums he put out have been pretty mid. Let's be honest. The only one that's been pretty good to me, the one that I would go back to, is the one with 21 Savage. But I also need one without 21 Savage on there. That's just my preference. I don't want to hear him. However, like I said, man, going back to the whole idea to be doing all this paperwork and suing and stuff all over, not like us, and because you lost a beef, like, I think this is really, really suburban. I don't know another word to use for this. It's very
it's very his mama's side of the family. That's what
it's definitely okay. Your mama isn't black. I get it. Like, I totally get it now, because it's like, for me, you going against everything that hip hop is about by going about it this way. Take your L. Everybody still would think, even us who are Kendrick fans, we still think like, man, nah, Drake's still gonna have some hits come out, and he's still gonna be Drake, and he's still gonna have women, and he's gonna still do him. But he hasn't been able to do that since this shit happened. And it's like, bow out for a second, sit down for a second. You the most working nigga in the game. Like, you always have a song out, you always on a feature. When do you say no? When do you take a break? This is the perfect time for him to have taken a break, stop twerking his lips up on pictures, and just chill out, man. Just go home, relax, stop beefing with everybody with the shit with DeMar DeRozan. Like, my dude, like, you're losing it. You're spiraling.
I don't know if niggas been around DeMar, but DeMar is not a short human being and not a small human being.
and he's really from
and
LA.
he's from Compton.
Really affiliated, like, really.
Yeah, he really out there. Like, and I don't think the disrespect, the things he's been doing, is almost like, we already knew his character. If you really pay attention to these artists, like, he don't talk how he rap. That's an act. So, like, even the way he carries himself outside of rap he's always kind of shown you who he was. But, like, to act like a Karen, my dude, like, let it go. Don't you use streaming things too? Like, don't they all?
Yeah.
Like,
and that's why I gotta say about it too, man. I'm gonna shoot Drake a little bill with, because Larry, I think you tweeted something the other day. Let's be very clear. Drake can do the same thing that Kendrick's doing on a stadium tour with somebody else. Mm-hmm. And I say with somebody else because there's no rapper out here who can do a stadium tour by himself. No. I don't think people understand. And that's why I kind of hate debating people who don't know anything about the entertainment industry as a whole. Like, there's a difference between 15 and 20,000 seats at a stadium, at an arena, and 40 to 80 with a stadium. Drake can do that if he did it with a rapper or an R&B singer, probably another R&B singer. He can do
Rihanna,
that.
Drake, Rihanna.
Eminem,
well, that never happened, but yeah.
Jay had to get B.
Right.
That's the type of stuff that happens. But his biggest enemy ain't Kendrick right now. It's himself. Look what J. Cole is doing. He's nostalging y'all niggas back to him with the podcast series. And remember when you fell in love with me in college? Let's do a Forest Hills reunion show. It matters. He's doing it right. Also, the difference between the two, it seems like Cole listens to his team. I believe that Drake has been so successful to the point where he ain't listening to nobody in his crew, to the point where I think he can be fine if he takes a break. His hip-hop credibility is shot. But even outside of niggas like us, I don't think people really care about that. The average person, even if his fans already treat him like he a Make-A-Wish kid. So there's a path for him to get back to where he was. But shutting up and beefing with your label, and for all y'all's like, he's doing it for the greater good. No, he's not.
Man,
yeah,
I know, man. $500 million deal. That was not for the greater good of nobody but himself, dog. Like, come on, man. This nigga ain't taking no stand. He ain't no political prisoner.
Yeah, And I think more than anything, what really hurt him and what made him start reacting the way he's reacting now is when, like we just mentioned, J. Cole, and the way J. Cole has been able to use nostalgia to bring people back to him. When that 100 gigs didn't hit, like he thought that was gonna be the one, because y'all been sitting here saying I'm not a part of the culture. I have no inputs
and
on
UMG
it. And it's
took
like,
it down as well.
yeah, and then it's like, here's all this shit I've done. And UMG is like, nah, fam, we not. That's just not the moment for that. And so I think this is just more so him being legit, like you said, just a Karen. He's upset. He felt like they would have backed him. He's like, I'm y'all biggest artist, and obviously he's not gonna put that into the language of the lawsuit. But I think that's what it's about. It's like, I'm the $500 million baby. I'm the one that y'all have been, pumping, and I've been the cash cow. So how can y'all allow this to happen to me? And then, for him to double back with the second lawsuit and then finally talk about Not Like Us and how it's false and all of that. I'm with you. I think his hip hop credibility is shot. And I think it's one of those things where I was talking to my homies where I really feel like maybe at a point where like Aubrey Graham is tired of playing Drake. And it's like,
I agree.
It's like I've made the money. I did this shit for a while. I've traveled the world. I'm ready for that next phase. And fuck it, I'm gonna burn the industry down on my way out the door. So trying to expose bots and shit.
We can say we want to buy Ye, man, but Ye was right, man. He got a rich baby daddy named Lucian Grange. Like, when you in your bars, you talking about me and Lucian like he your friend. He's a businessman, bro. Like, you got good lawyers, but you better hope Universal just cash you out. You better hope it get thrown out, because if you want to play, they can play. All right, like they got oil money lawyers. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something that I wouldn't even want to go to discovery phase for, because they got some dirt on you as well. So that's the issue with that. And I think Dante, you said like he's done with playing Drake. To me, this is like, and we're going to the last topic. Remember that scene in Power where Go stop messing with Tommy and start working with Drake, and Drake put the gun behind Tommy. He said, "Oh, you got your new bitch." That's what Drake is to UMG right now when it comes to Kendrick, man. But Lero, we only got a couple of minutes with you. What else you got on your mind, man, that you want to talk about?
Ooh, man, you know what? It's stuff I don't want to talk about, but I mean, I just say this, man. I'll just say this, and this is real short. Just there is no age limit on art, okay? There's no, of course, everybody would love to get paid from their art, but if you just do your art for your own good, and that's fine. Just don't live in delusion about it either, okay? I'm going to just leave it at that. I don't want to go too deep. I have had a long week on Facebook, a very long week. A lot of angry rappers, some skits that I did 5 to 10 years ago. It's getting ridiculous, guys. I just wanted to stop. So that's all I got to say, man. I'm not against nobody creating no art who's old. Stop rapping had nothing to do with people who are old. It had all to do with people who should stop rapping. 22, 42, 102, I don't care how old you are. If you know somebody, please tell them to stop rapping if they don't make sense. That's just what I'm at with it. But other than that, man, I don't have nothing else to say. I'm really happy with the Kendrick shit, bro. This has been like the best year of music in like, for me, in a long time. I wasn't a Wayne fan, so
I was. If you know what got me off Wayne, and I just want to say this about Wayne. Even though I'm not the biggest Wayne fan, it was funny because I started off a huge Wayne fan, but Drought 3 is why I got off the bus, because niggas was doing too much, and niggas said, "Oh, he better than Lupe." I was like, "Okay, let's reel it in." But Wayne, you're a legend. Your contribution, I think he's in the top 3 most influential rappers ever. It's Pac, him, and Ye. As far as most influential, I'm gonna throw LL in there as well. Don't mess with that boy, okay? Leave that boy alone, okay? Because he gonna come at you with love, bro, because he loves you. He like, it's gonna be like when what's his name? Remember when Shawn Michaels got Ric Flair out of here and he cried and he said, "I love you," before he retired him? Don't do it, bro.
Sweet chin music, and I'm gonna pass the ox.
Right, exactly. Like, I understand that you a rapper, you went to the booth. Like, I believe what Joe Budden said, he actually does have a song. Don't put it out, okay? Don't put it out. This nigga said, "I cut my granny off." He got smoke for granny. Leave him alone, bro. That's all I want to say out there to Wayne, man.
I gotta say something too, just because I want to bag you up on that. As a person who did not like Wayne growing up like that. I would like to say you deserve all your. If Wayne is listening, anybody who know Wayne, show him this. I'm not a fan like that, but you deserve all your flowers. You had
Yes.
one of the greatest runs of all time. I mean, all time. Them 4 years is like how people herald Gilbert Arenas' career. Like they think he's super raw because of his 4 years. You had an even better 4 years than Gilbert Arenas, dog. You are amazing. However, you do not win battles. Don't do it. I'm backing up the statement from Scott. Don't do it. We saw what happened with Pusha T. Just don't do it.
We don't want two dreads on the high. And be very careful because he's going to your hometown to do the Super Bowl. Leave him alone.
Hey, you know what? I'm gonna go the exact opposite way. Do it. Please do it.
Dante want to see blood.
I want violence. I want all these old niggas washed up. Like you said, it's no disrespect because I love Wayne. Like I was one of the people. I was a Wayne fan, and even though I was a whole fan, and it made the stands always make you not want to be a fan. The people that go too far and want to just say silly shit, those are the people that mess it up. But I mean, bro, your legacy is your legacy. I mean, we could go back and really reevaluate some things, and I guarantee you some opinions would change. But just let it be what it is. Because you coming out talking about waking the demon, and then you had BG who sound like, I'm not gonna say that, but BG talking about don't get my brother started. I'll stop. Just stop. Just stop.
Y'all don't get your probation officer started, BG. Relax.
Yeah, like you cut it out, sir.
But Lero, man, anything you want to push before we get you up out of here?
No, not really. Nah, for real. I ain't got too much going on right now. I didn't tell you guys I did do a wing competition over the break right before.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I saw.
It reminded me of Ed Lover's Wings of Space from Southside.
Yes. Listen, hey, second place. It was like 100 people who came. No, it wasn't 100 people. It was like 7 people. It was seven people. I was runner up. I made a jerk fried chicken wing on the inside. It tastes like jerk chicken. On the outside, it tastes like your grandma made it. Made a jerk mild sauce from scratch. I didn't just put jerk sauce and mild sauce together. I made everything. So yeah, I don't cook for people though. I just wanted to say this because people be looking at me and don't be believing that I'm really Chef Larry as cooks, but that is me. I do get in. I get down. When I left there, people was trying to get me to cater. So maybe one day I might bottle up my sauce because the social media food content creators was really raving about it. So I just wanted to soft plug. You know what I'm saying? I did something that I never even did before, and it was pretty dope. So yeah, other than that, man, just be looking out for Culture Selling some more stuff we got coming out. Got the show That's Raw, where I can pub this real quick. If anybody is a rapper, any rappers, any singers, any artists out there, send us y'all videos at Culture Seller on Instagram. We're looking to get any artist videos. We bringing back like a Rap City vibe. So just send us y'all videos if you got some. Other than that, just keep in tune with me. I'm going to keep on going with what I've been doing and keep on rocking with you guys, man. I appreciate y'all.
Definitely, man. You can follow Lero at Larry's Legend on Twitter and at Larry's Legend 1 on Instagram, man. Lero, enjoy your weekend, brother. We're going to holler at you.
Yes, sir. Y'all be safe.
Yes, sir. We're going to take a quick 1-minute break. We'll be back on the other side. We got Courtney and Mikey back, and we're going to talk about Championship Saturday in college football tomorrow, man. What's going to happen with that? And we're going to do our full picks Week 14 in the NFL. We'll be right back.
So cool.
Triple double hat trick, I know the code too. Ice trade, go for trade, yeah we cold too. Getting paper on these player haters, old news. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna hold you. Money on the other line, so I'm not gonna.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the final block of I'm Not Gonna Hold You, man. We've got Mikey and Courtney joining me. Dante taking a quick break. Shout out to Bang Wamsgans. Bang is handling his business, so we probably won't have Bang on here today, but he'll be back on Monday, man. But we're gonna bring Mikey and Courtney in. Courtney, how are you?
It's been a busy day. It's Friday, but I'm ready for some football this week.
Some football.
We are ready.
Good college football. Now, Mike, you had a question for you. I'm out the loop with what you said. You said earlier that the first four, that the only games matters with Texas and Georgia, and was it Oregon, Penn State? You said.
The only games that matter really is tonight in about 45 minutes. Boise State and UNLV. So
Okay.
that's for what conference is that again? The Mountain West. That's for the Mountain West. So Boise right now is 10. That's automatic bid too, right?
No. So that's the interesting thing about it. And it's kind of one of the discussions that's being had. Because right now, obviously, we're kind of in a situation where, say if UNLV wins, right, then what happens to Boise State?
Right.
Boise State fall out, and then with the Big 12 championship game tomorrow, who would get in? So there's a lot of moving parts right now that I'm still trying to keep track of all the different odds. I feel like fucking Doctor Strange.
Okay, so there's still stuff on the line for the other games.
Tonight's game is one of the big ones. That in my opinion, it's the ACC championship game tomorrow night with Clemson and SMU, and then tonight, like Mikey said, UNLV versus Boise State. Those have implications for the playoff.
And then the ASU, ISU, like that, it could get tricky there. But yeah, there's only really two games that matter. When it comes down to Oregon, Penn State, Oregon is locked in. Penn State is in. They're both going to get into the 12-team playoff. Same with Texas and Georgia. So you have to wonder what type of effort is kind of going to be given. I think Oregon is going to want to win a Big Ten championship in their first full year in the Big Ten, and I think they do. But, like that Georgia-Texas game, the only thing that really you're playing for is maybe Texas to kind of try to get their lick back. From that loss that they had a couple weeks ago, but all of those teams are going to be in. It does nothing as far as them being in or out. Ward Manuel, the chairman for the CFP, and he's the AD at Michigan, basically said that the teams that are in unless Clemson beats unless Clemson beats SMU, Courtney, that
Clemson is 9-3 right now. So
right.
If Clemson beats SMU, they would be the conference champion, and with that brand being what it is, they can't really substantiate leaving them out.
Right. And then SMU bounces out, right?
Would likely be out. But I think that's it. Like you said, based on what he said, if you're already in, then you're in. Well, SMU's only lost, I believe, once this season, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
So how fucked up would that be if you're now at that point a 2-loss team, but you went you're being penalized because you played an extra game, and so that allows Alabama to sneak in there, which is fucking egregious. I want to say as a Bama homer, that's fucking egregious.
Yeah, he kind of said that the teams that were already locked in are the teams that are locked in, and be any of the other teams like Miami, Ole Miss, South Carolina, like they're kind of
you're fucked.
Yeah, they're basically fucked because there's not another data point allegedly that they can add into the CFP rankings this week since those teams aren't playing. So it's kind of fucked up. Like I said, like there really aren't games that matter outside of the Boise State game tonight and the Clemson SMU game tomorrow, because the rest of it is just locked in. It's just going to all depend on on the matchups, but we won't find that out till next week anyway.
Definitely. Let's go over these games for tomorrow. Today, if you're watching the segment today, we're gonna go to the first game. Courtney, I know you got a vested interest in Arizona State and Iowa State. Tell me what you feel about this game. I know who you're going for, but tell the people who you're going for.
Yeah. So I went to Arizona State, so of course I am rooting for my Sun Devils. There are a couple things really that I want to watch for. Mikey and I briefly discussed it in our group chat. Cam Scatterbo is having an absolutely incredible season for Arizona State. One of the top running backs in the country. People like to call him the White Ashton Genty. So very, very talented running back. Unfortunately, Arizona State did just lose in the last game of the season. Jordan Tyson, their leading receiver. So that's, kind of going to be a tough gap to fill. But the good news is that Iowa State has one of the worst run defenses in the country. They are absolutely atrocious at defending the run. So I expect Cam Scatterbo to have a very, very big day. Mikey, you said what? 3 touchdowns?
Yeah, 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns for Cam.
4. If they get into the red zone, they're not stopping him. But speaking of red zone, Arizona State, terrible red zone defense. Iowa State is going to score a lot. They have a pair of wide receivers up there that both have over 1,000 yards. They are going to score. Their quarterback, what's his name? Rocco Beck, I think it is.
Yeah, Beck. Yeah, Beck.
Yeah. Dude can fling the ball. So it's going to be a high scoring affair. I'm not exactly sure what the over is, but I'd probably hammer it in this game. It's
49 and a half. 49 and a half.
Yeah, it's going to be a high scoring affair, but overall I think Arizona State has the advantage both on offense and also defense. They're on a 5-game winning streak right now. I'm taking Arizona State.
How do you feel about Jordan Tyson being out?
Oh, I'm fucking devastated.
Yeah, that's for Scott. That's Arizona State's number 1 wide receiver.
Yeah, he's our best wide receiver. That's a tough loss. But again, you know who the second best receiver with the second most receiving yards on that team is, right?
Cam
Scatterbo. The man can do everything. So I expect him to have a very big day tomorrow. I pray that he eats his Wheaties in the morning.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. It should be back and forth, and it's rather early in the day, so it's going to be good. I know some games started right now, but I'm looking forward to that Boise State game tonight.
Me too.
Definitely,
that's
going to be a big one. Let's go to the SEC championship game between Texas and Georgia. Of course, these are big fan bases. These niggas are always on my timeline every week, man. It's like Georgia trying to get some get back in this one. Courtney, what you feel about this matchup? Who you got?
I mean, this is one of those. I feel like I'm kind of going back and forth in my mind, just because when I think about when they played each other for the first time this season. Also, just fun little factoid for the people watching at home. This could be the first time that Texas potentially loses to the same opponent twice in a season since 1909 or something like that. And that team that they lost to back in 1909 was actually Texas A&M. So fun fact for the people at home. But yeah, the last matchup between Texas and Georgia, it was kind of sloppy football. Entertaining for those of us who weren't, invested in the teams, but just sloppy football. Quinn Ewers played like ass. Carson Beck played like ass. They were having a mid-off if I'm keeping it a buck. Honestly,
that was the BLT Classic. That was the BLT Classic.
Yeah. It was nasty.
Georgia's going to win this football game. I feel like Georgia's going to win this football game off the strength of being at Mercedes-Benz Stadium alone. That's going to be a stifling environment for Texas. And if Quinn does not have his bearings early on, yeah, I fear they might be cooked. Also, TBH, just keep Arch in there.
I think we're going to see Arch. That's what I was going to get to. I think he's going to play. I think he kind of proved valuable last week when they brought him in to kind of use his legs, like a Manning that can actually run. It's pretty crazy. So I think Arch plays, but I'm just going to ride with Texas in this one. I just think they're the better offense and defense. And they've been playing a little bit better since getting, taking that L to Georgia. Like I said, I don't know what motivation these teams have. So it's going to be hard to say. I think the obvious team that has more motivation would be Texas, and just kind of like that revenge factor. But it should be a good game. I think it's actually going to be a low scoring game. I think we're going to see maybe 24, 21, 21, 18 type of game. I think it's going to be that, just because this, up until that fourth quarter against Georgia Tech, the Georgia offense did absolutely nothing.
Yep.
And I think we're going to kind of see more of the same of that, because I do, like this Texas defense. So it should be a good game. It'll be a good game that the timeline's locked into, but it really has no implications as far as as far as seeding and who's in and who's out.
Yeah, I think too, man. I just don't trust Carson Beck, man. Like, and I think that if Arch Manning, like I said, Arch Manning plays, I really like how he's been playing. Every time I see Arch, just like that. Remember the 3 Dave skit on Chappelle Show?
Yeah,
where it was like, the Wayans brothers got this. There's more. That's how I feel when I see Arch Manning out there playing. It's gonna be tough to win in the Benz because they love that team out there. It's a tough atmosphere to play, but I personally like Texas on it. I don't think there's anything, like you said, motivation-wise outside of hate for this game. So it's going to be interesting to see how it's played. But I'm probably going to ride with Texas on this one. Let's talk about
the more we talk about it, I just keep wanting to change my mind, right? Like I feel like I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to feel like an entirely different way. Gosh, one thing about Kirby Smart is so good about trying to sell you his product, because why am I up here? Why am I believing in Carson Beck? This is crazy.
I mean, I think they've been there
when he's like, I told him about the fucking dogs. That's what I told him. That's what you hear.
Yeah.
That's what you hear. I might feel a different way tomorrow, but I'm taking Georgia in this game.
Let's get to the Big Ten championship, man. Dan Lanning and his boys. This is their first year in the Big Ten. They're going against a Big Ten stalwart, I guess Penn State. In this one, man. Dylan Gabriel and the boys. What do you think about this game? And he gave like a real, was it like a motivational video or something? It was had me hyped. Mikey, I know when you retweeted it.
Yeah. He brought out the I can't say the name, but he brought out the blank bear from Inglorious Bastard and given the he brought out the Drake bear but no, like Dan Lanning is that dude, man. I fuck with Dan Lanning. I fuck with Oregon. I've always fucked with Oregon just off of the strength of the Nike ties and their assortments of 500 different uniforms. But I think this is an important game because right here they're playing for a bye. So the winner of this game will get a bye during the CFP. But I still think that this is going to be a game that Oregon wins. I have more faith in Dylan Gabriel. I don't like Drew Aller at quarterback for Penn State. And honestly, how can anybody trust a James Franklin-led team to win a big game? He's just not. That's just not his MO.
What is it? If I'm not mistaken, I believe he's 1-16.
Yeah, it's something. Yeah, he's the Matt Eberflus. He's the Matt Eberflus. But, I mean,
track record.
He's a good coach, good program. They're always there, but when those games that you got to have, it's just not there. But I mean, Oregon has scored 35 points in 5 of their last 6 games. I think that they're gonna probably have no problem, putting up points in this game. I think Penn State will still be able to kind of move the ball on them. It's a total of 49.5. I think we're looking at an over. I think Oregon could probably give you 30 points on their own there. But yeah, Oregon's going to be number 1. I think Oregon is primed to kind of take a nice little run into the CFP. And I think we might be seeing them in the championship game.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me at all. This is probably the game that I'm least excited for because I don't think Penn State is a particularly sexy team. Oregon has really flown under the radar. I mean, good for them. Nobody has really talked about Oregon this season. There's been obviously a lot of fluctuation between 2 through 25 in the AP top 25, but Oregon has been the constant all season. And again, good for them to be able to kind of tune out everything and stay out of the mix and keep handling their business. I know it was a little sketchy when they went into Wisconsin a couple weeks ago and they almost lost, but they didn't.
And that's a good test for them for like, that's a good barometer for like a game like this and what they'll be, seeing later on.
My least favorite thing though about this game, I don't like that it's in Indianapolis. I feel like Big Ten football is just like, when I think of it, I think of cold.
You don't think of Oregon.
It should be in Chicago. It should be in Chicago. Yeah. This should be the hub.
Absolutely. This should Soldier Field.
The thing is, Soldier Field is just too small, for the type of crowd. But I don't know if tomorrow's going to be a sellout.
Get it together, Kevin Warren.
Because it's Penn State and Oregon. If it were like Oregon and Ohio State, I can't.
That's
help
Big Ten.
I seen tickets for like $15, like get in, like as of today, but you have to think about it. Getting to Indianapolis rough, for those fan bases, right? If you're flying in from Oregon, you're coming into Chicago because O'Hare is a hub, but now you got to rent a car and drive to Indianapolis.
I will say
And
for Indianapolis, they got a nice parking lot. I'll say that much.
Also, I don't want to be like this person, and
nice
like
lot.
what about women's sports? But I'm pretty sure the first round of the NCAA women's volleyball just started in Indy. So curious to see what the crossover might look like. Maybe it might be a good turnout. Maybe some people that are in town for college volleyball might want to go watch some college football tomorrow.
I mean, Indianapolis.
Facts. Nothing else. You don't want to go see Anthony Richardson. I mean, you don't want to see I think the Pacers are here tonight. They're playing the Bulls here tonight. But yeah, there's nothing really going on over there. But I do think that Kevin Warren does want this stadium for that, and he has actually said it. Because this is a city that should be hosting Big Ten games. And I think that the Big Ten hub should be Chicago, just because it has the two airports that you can get into for all those different schools,
and
especially
since
big
old Big Ten bar over there in
Rosemont. Yeah. They got a Big Ten bar right there. It's actually, they have like an office over there and everything too. So I think that they should but it's on the Bears. It's obviously on the Bears, and that'll be the point. But I think in years down the road, this is going to end up being the hub.
And real quick, another reason it should be the hub, and it's the money. Like, I know we talk about Mercedes-Benz and Mercedes-Benz being new, but like a lot of these SEC graduates, they live in Atlanta or around Atlanta, and this is where the money at. And so that's why Bama coming here is big. That's why anybody from the SEC coming here, and then adding that Texas money to the SEC, you're going to see a lot of them make the trip to Atlanta. But like you said, once they get a stadium, Chicago will be where they had a Big Ten championship every year.
Yep, 100%. But you got to have that stadium that could fit 70, 80,000.
So that means Big Ten playoff games coming 2035. Look out for it. So
yeah, probably for football. I know they do. They host the basketball like first rounds at the United Center sometimes.
Yeah, but let's get to the last game on the schedule tomorrow. ACC championship between SMU and Clemson. I don't know much about this game, not gonna lie. I just don't like Dabo Swinney, so I'm gonna go with SMU just off the fact that I don't like
that's a great reason. That's a good enough reason.
Courtney, what's your vibes on this game?
So I don't know if you remember this. I remember it. When we were talking before the season, the college football season started, we were talking about our Heisman candidates, preseason. And I brought up Preston Stone, the quarterback for SMU. Well, now he's been benched, right? He was benched, I think, like the third game of the season. They benched him for Kevin Jennings, who came in and really righted the ship. And I didn't realize, and I said that about Preston Stone because I knew that offense would score a lot. Like, that's a fantastic offense that SMU had. And so Kevin Jennings has really done a great job. He has, I think, like 19 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Yeah, that's, that's going to happen sometimes. But he's been that's a really great offense. I think they're averaging almost 40 points a game. They're going to score a lot. Clemson has struggled with that as of late, but also Clemson has had to play more difficult opponents as of recent as well. And that's no slight to SMU. But I mean, Clemson, yeah, they did just lose to South Carolina, but I think they're kind of just going to be on a different level right now. So sadly, I feel like I got to take Clemson in this game, which is crazy. I don't want to, but I'm taking Clemson.
You wouldn't be wrong, but I'm just gonna ride with SMU. And first off, shout out to SMU. Coming over, this is their first year as well in the ACC. They're ranked. They also get $0 and zero revenue from the conference as far as like their network sharing, because they don't have a deal yet, and they're just going out there and they're hooping.
They don't even need it. They got so much fucking hedge fund money.
So many. It's so yeah. They're loaded.
University is literally surrounded by homes where like the average price, like the cheapest home in that neighborhood is like $3 million.
They got a lot of Bobby Axelrod money over there.
Yeah, they got.
Oh yeah,
over there.
Their alumni are crazy. If we go down the list, it's got to be like, damn, he went there. Like they got some money, but Clemson has only played 2 games against a ranked opponent this year. One was last week, in which they lost at home to South Carolina. And they're 1-1. I just think SMU is going to be able to find offensive success more often than Clemson will be able to. Cade Klubnik had, he had high praise coming in, and he was supposed to be like their next big guy. And he's cool. He's all right, but he hasn't taken that step. Indiana, I think that this is going to be a close game, but I think SMU does pull it out. They're favorites right now by, I think it's -2.5. So they're saying it's a field goal game, but I think SMU will be able to find consistency, especially in the run game, because Clemson's run defense isn't that good, and SMU does run the ball, I think, like 55% of the time. So, kind of the Courtney's point about switching QBs, they definitely have found something in the running game, though, to make it easier.
Definitely. That's all we got for Saturday. Let's talk about the Sunday games. We're going to bring Dante back in here as we're going to preview week 14. Can't believe we're in week 14 already, bro. That's one thing. I love the NFL, but I get depressed towards the end of the season. Like, I'm happy because playoffs coming, nigga. Like, I don't love the playoffs, but I'm not looking forward to 8 months of no football. I'm sorry, I'm just not.
And like, what do you mean I'm not going to be able to like watch the Jags and the Titans?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was just talking about not wanting to watch Anthony Richardson. I'm gonna miss Anthony Richardson in like May.
The dog television, but like, damn,
First of all,
I'm gonna miss it.
I got another season of watching Charlotte Knights AAA baseball, so I'm very excited. Fuck you talking about? I got a whole lot of shit to watch.
So we towards the stretch end, man, of this season. But Courtney, we always start with you giving your Bears pick. All 3 of us picked the Bears to win this Sunday.
I'm taking the Bears too. We're gonna round it out. I don't believe in this current state of the San Francisco 49ers. They're too banged up. They're injured. And just to be clear, the game is in Chicago?
It's in
San Francisco.
Hey, new coach.
Give me the Bears.
Give me
the. Hey, teams have a 9-2 record against the spread. It's a 3.5-point spread since 2020, the week after they fired their head coach. The Bears are going to come out. They're going to be playing fast. They're going to be playing. The one thing we didn't talk about, Scott, is just like, I'm interested to see how the defense plays too, because, one thing you can say is Flus was the defensive, coordinator, and he called a good defense for the most part, except when we got into those bad, moments. So I want to see what Eric Washington brings. And it might be like a legit, and just to circle back.
Said watching Coach Montgomery hit 225.
Yeah, all right. That's why Owen Casey gonna be a White Sox soon. So what is it? But yeah, the other thing too is, the people that were the most vocal were the defensive players. So they have to have some source of renewed energy. Coming up, with a new voice now. So it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna ride with the Bears. I think it's gonna be a close game. Courtney, come. This is probably the only time you'll ever pick us. Come with us.
No, I picked up. Actually,
he picked us a couple times this year. Yeah, he did.
Okay.
I picked you to win that Vikings game. It's not my fault that Matt Eberflus is a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Oh man.
And shout out to Courtney and Mikey for actual fun facts. Most people don't have fun, and they're not fun. We had 2 fun facts in like 5 minutes. But let's go to this next game, which I think is gonna be god awful. But Giants Saints, in the Meadowlands, man. Of course, we know they're down to who's my man, the 3rd string, Drew Lock.
Drew Lock. He really should have been the 2nd string.
He should have been the 2nd string, but for tank reasons, he wasn't. Right. But they sent Daniel Jones to Minnesota, and Tommy DeVito is hurt, aka Jackie Jr. from The Sopranos. So it will be Drew Lock playing the Saints. Still a bad team. I got the Saints winning this one because the Giants are purposely trying to get into Shador talk. So I'm going with Giants. We're gonna go Dante, Courtney, Mikey.
Yeah, once you start looking at teams that are clearly tanking, I just can't pick them. So I'm gonna go with the Saints on this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Saints. Blake Groupie is about to go crazy. But also, I want to start. I want the congressional fucking investigation opened right now into the Giants. Right now.
Yeah.
Tanking should be illegal. I don't like it. I don't like it. I'm taking the Saints.
Yeah. Yeah, give me the Saints. I think they find success with Alvin Kamara, and I picked up MVS to try to get me in that late playoff push. So hopefully he can score another touchdown.
All right, next game, man. AFC North battle. By the way, did any of y'all see episode 1 of Hard Knocks AFC North?
Nah, yeah. I got a bad taste in my mouth for Hard Knocks after.
I understand. I definitely get it.
I'll catch that shit later on, like this week or something. Maybe I'll wait till both of them are out.
I was watching, and the couple things I took from one, the Bengals are not paying Jamar because them niggas, they practice facility is like in like a residential street. Like, what is going on? Also, we talking about coaches earlier. I would trade everybody for Mike Tomlin. Tomlin, you just see how he runs the show, bro. Like, I just love Mike Tomlin. That's just pretty much what I got from that episode, man. But we got Steelers and Browns in Pittsburgh. Steelers been playing really, really well since Russ has been out there. Russ threw for like 400-some yards in Cincinnati last week. The Browns still been playing in games with Jameis, with that defense. But this is going to be an ugly game. I think it's going to be a very close game, defensive game. But I trust the Steelers offense way more than I trust the Browns. Give me my boy Russ and George Pickens, who I believe Mike Tomlin put him on lookout. Like, hey, I ain't finna be tolerating too much. You see what Le'Veon and AB doing right now. Keep playing. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna go with the Steelers in this one.
Yeah. J-Mo, he's fun to watch, but you know what you're gonna get at the end of the day. A whole lot of yards, whole lot of turnovers. And so now I'm going to go with the Steelers as well. I think that defense is going to take the ball away at least 2-3 times.
I'm still stuck on him asking God to free him from pick sixes.
That was so funny.
That's crazy. Also, whoever is doing his PR, I mean, well done. Like, you're earning every bit of that money because I'm almost forgetting.
We almost forgot about them Freaky Sean comments.
Correct. Not just that, and also that
other obvious.
Not a great person.
Yeah, exactly.
But the pastor shtick, it's really working for him. But I don't care. I don't care. Give me the Steelers. Give me the Steelers.
Yeah. Give me the Steelers. Obviously, they played a close one on Thursday night a couple weeks ago in the elements. I think the Steelers are rolling. Browns coming off of a short week too, playing Monday night over in the altitude. Give me the Steelers.
Next game, man. Kirko's been playing bad, and he's returning home. He's going back to Minnesota to play the Minnesota Vikings, man. We didn't get to talk about this, but I think it's Michael Penix time. I thought Kirko had a little bit left in him. He must have gotten rid of all that in the first quarter and a half of the season because he is cooked. I would go with Penix, but obviously they're riding with Kirko. I think Vikings winning this one, man. They're at the crib. Aaron Jones playing well. Sam Darnold still playing well. Kevin O'Connell, I want him hired. He's phenomenal play call. He love everything he does that team. Going with the Vikings in this one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Minnesota as well. Kirk Cousins, he got a lot of new stats they have about quarterbacks, and another one just velo. He didn't throw a ball over, I think they said 37 miles an hour last game. So not really driving off that back foot, bro. We talked about the Achilles. He doesn't look comfortable back there. Whenever they blitz, he's actually the worst quarterback in the league against the blitz. I think he has a QBR of 9 against the blitz this year, which is fucking awful. So yeah, I think my do-rag brother and Michael Penix is gonna see the field very soon. Now it might be this game because I do think the Falcons are a team that they want to win the division, and Arthur Blank, like I told y'all, he's one of those owners that he wants one before he goes. So
yeah.
I don't have too many thoughts about this game.
Whoa, that's a fine.
Oh fuck y'all! I pressed it at time, dog. Like
I was like, oh shit!
I was waiting for Dante to do something, and he coughed on air. There we go.
The first ever.
The first ever. That's a fine siren. Me and the kid was like, ain't nobody done it yet.
Crazy.
That's funny. I was scared as hell. I was like, what the fuck happened?
You should have saw Courtney's face. Courtney's like, hold up, what's going on?
That was the
Yeah,
fucking purge.
Oh shit, the Russians, they didn't got us.
Well, go ahead, Courtney.
Oh no. I ain't got too much to say about this game. Give me the Vikings at home.
Yeah, give me the Vikings. They're gonna put Kirk to sleep early.
I actually pressed mute. Y'all was gonna have to give me the fine in a second. If I'd have been a nanosecond late. But anyway, Buccaneers, Raiders. I said on the show a couple weeks ago, I felt like the Buccaneers had a clear opportunity to steal the NFC South away from the Atlanta Falcons. Big win last week against the Panthers in overtime. They're playing the Raiders, and I think the Raiders right now are just trying to get through the season. Maybe fire Antonio Pierce, and I don't know, but they're gonna try to find a way to trade up against Shador. We've seen Shador make references to the Raiders. Maybe that's a spot that he wants to go. Maybe that's a spot Dion wants to go. But the Raiders are done, and like you said, Dante, teams that are intentionally tanking. I'm going with the Bucs. They're at the crib, and I think they're gonna find a way to win this NFC South.
Yeah, I'm going with the Bucs as well. My boy Baker Mayfield, I picked him up again. Hopefully he can, save my fantasy season like he did last year.
Wait,
So,
are you about to start playoffs next week?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, that's crazy.
In Baker we trust.
To save your.
He got me the dub last year. I won like $1,200 because of that nigga. So
wow,
I'm rocking with Baker.
Yes. Yeah, I'm not choosing the Raiders. So give me the Bucs.
Yeah, give me the Bucs.
Next game, Eagles Panthers, man. Eagles back at the crib. Big win in Baltimore last week. They're still, even though Detroit has been on the run, they're only a game behind Detroit. So they still got a lot to play for. Maybe try to get that first seed from Detroit if Detroit can find a way to slip up over these next 5 games. Playing the Panthers. Panthers been playing very, very well. We talked about Bryce Young earlier. Having said all that, Eagles are the Eagles, man. They're at the crib. Gonna be a lot of Saquon Barkley. I think the Eagles gonna win this one.
The Eagles, bro, like you said, the Eagles are the biggest challenge to the Lions. That's the one team I think can knock them off, but I think they get it done this week. I got Philly as well.
Not so fast, no. I'm taking the Eagles. It would be cool. It would be nice to see. But I don't think the Panthers got it in them right now. So give me the Eagles.
Yeah, give me the Eagles. If the Panthers had just a little bit more talent on offense, I would think that they might be able to cover this big spread. I think they're 12 and a half.
He used to have this great wide receiver that now is on another team and doesn't even play.
Man.
Gosh, what was his name?
Ooh.
Crazy how that works.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's not. Hold on, though. You said great.
Yeah, right.
He's not great. When you said great, I thought you were talking about DJ Moore.
Yeah.
That's crazy. No, I was definitely talking about Deontay Johnson. That's why.
Yeah. He's terrible. Give me the Eagles.
It's next game. Yuck. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Titans, Jaguars. I'm just gonna go out on a limb. I don't care.
You're gonna miss this.
I don't. Will Levis versus Mac Jones.
Where's it at?
It's in Tennessee.
Give me Mac Jones, bro. I'm gonna go with Jacksonville.
This is a great game for those of us who managed to pick up Westbrook-Akine in their fantasy leagues. It's basically a guaranteed tutty. Hopefully, too. I'm taking the Titans. Will Levis, gunslinger. Let's go, buddy. Let's go.
Yeah, give me the Titans. I actually have to start Will Levis this week at quarterback. So, yeah.
God bless you.
How many people are in your league?
12, and we got some people that are starting to hoard QBs.
That's nasty. Stashing.
Yeah.
PSA, people, stop stashing quarterbacks on your fucking bench. It's a disgrace to the game.
Yeah, especially because ours is like a waiver fee. You got to pay for free agents, so it sucks. But yeah, give me the Titans. I think Tony Pollard has a big game.
Oh man, next couple games should be good. Dolphins, Jets. I know the Jets been bad, but they've been competitive. Dolphins have playing a lot of good ball lately, but we all knew what was going to happen in Green Bay last week. Happened. They can't play anything below 60-degree weather. They're at the crib for this one, and the Jets stink, man. The Jets stink, and Aaron Rodgers is 1 foot out of there. I'm going with the Dolphins. Give me the Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Dolphins as well. Tua has been playing well since he came back. I still don't think they do absolutely anything when it matters, but yeah, I'm gonna go with the Dolphins.
Yeah, I'm going with the Dolphins because fuck Aaron Rodgers. And the Jets stink. The Jets really stink.
Indeed, they do.
Yeah, we're looking at no Sauce Gardner, no Brees Hall. Give me the Dolphins, but I
Braylon
will.
Allen? Braylon Allen?
Braylon Allen, 2 TDs. Braylon Allen, 2 TDs.
Hammer.
But give me the Dolphins.
Oh man, let's go to next. This is gonna be real good one, man. NFC West matchup in Arizona. Cardinals and
You
Seahawks.
said this is gonna be real good.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a competitive game. This is the
Seahawks,
division.
Cardinals?
A lot
Yeah.
of points.
Yeah,
It'll be a lot of
Seahawks,
points.
Cardinals.
A lot of points.
Yeah, Seahawks Cardinals gonna be competitive. They both very close.
Entertaining.
Yeah, entertaining game. Entertaining mid. Entertaining mid.
Okay,
That's
yeah,
what
yeah,
you're
yeah.
gonna
See,
get.
thank you.
And it's entertaining mid, man. Cardinals, Seahawks, you never know which team you're gonna get each week. With either one of these niggas in this division. But I'm gonna go Seahawks, man. I just trust Geno a lot more than Kyler Murray. I just never been big on Kyler Murray. I don't know what they're doing out there, and I think the Seahawks gonna be able to start to get more of a stranglehold on the division. Give me Seattle.
Yeah, man. I think we've been waiting all year for Murder Marv to really get going. And, he's had a okay season, but not what we really expected from him out the gate. I'm gonna go with Geno as well. Future Justin Fields.
Yeah, I'm taking the Seahawks as well. Kenneth Walker, do the thing. Do the thing.
Yeah, I like the Seahawks too. I do like the way that the Cardinals run the ball and their offensive line seems to like really bully people, but I don't see it happening here. Give me the Seahawks.
This next game, I think, is a little trap game. Rams, Bills in SoFi. Rams ain't been playing the best. Bills been playing great, but I feel like the Bills been on such a high lately, and the Rams are sneaky enough to be able to pull that out. They are in LA. Having said all that, I'm still going Bills, but I do think this will be a very, very close game. Give me Buffalo.
I too will take the Buffalo Bills. I'm gonna actually go Buffalo by 10. I don't think it's gonna be that close of a game.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna be that close, in my opinion. I'm taking the Bills though. Josh Allen's gonna have a monster game.
I think it could be close just off of the fact that Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp can present some problems for the Bills cornerbacks, but give me the Bills. They're rolling.
All right, we're gonna get to the two national games. Sunday Night Football at Arrowhead. We talk about Devil Magic at Arrowhead. That might continue this week. You got the Kansas City Chiefs. We playing their division rival, the Los Angeles Chargers. Man, this one, I feel like every time Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes link up, we get a good game for the most part. I think it's gonna be another competitive game, and I think that how they always get away with barely beating niggas. I don't think that's gonna work on Sunday. I got the Chargers winning. I got the Chargers winning on the road on Sunday Night Football. Big dub for Jim Harbaugh and Justin Herbert. Give me the Chargers.
Yes. As we continue to push for this home playoff game, I'm going to pick the Los Angeles Chargers to take care of business and get it done. I mean, these teams. It's amazing what he's done with that. Pretty much the same roster. He hasn't had much turnover, and it's just been a mentality change. So you got to really shout out Jim Harbaugh for that. But no, I think the Chargers take care of business.
Yeah, I'm giving the Chargers. I'm still not sold on the Chiefs. Obviously, I know they keep winning. I know they've only lost one game. I feel like they're on the cusp nearly every game, and they should have a lot more L's if they didn't have the devil magic. I'm taking the Chargers.
Yeah, I'll toss and turn with this game all week because I really do want to go Chargers, but you can't deny that the Chiefs are 8 out of their last 10 versus the Chargers. Playing at Arrowhead is already tough. I love what the Chargers did last week as far as taking the ball away from the Falcons, but I just talked myself out of it. Something tells me the Chiefs get like a really big game out of their running back with Pacheco using Kareem Hunt, and they find a way to win this game. I would feel much better if J.K. Dobbins was healthy. Give me the Chiefs in this game, but a really good close game.
Final game. Look, this is going to be nasty. This is the Nickelodeon game of the week. Cowboys and Bengals at Jerry World, a place that the Cowboys still not won this season. The Bengals have not had a good year, but Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase had, and Jamar Chase is fin to make niggas pay him because he is having a crazy year. I think the Bengals can't win this. I don't know what to tell you, man. Cowboys are a bad team. They're a hurt team. Cooper Rush shouldn't be. If Cooper Rush puts up numbers on this defense, niggas gotta walk home. I'm going with the Bengals in this one.
Well, I mean, Cooper Rush is going to put up numbers, but I'm still going with the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow is going to light them the fuck up. It's going to be another one of those entertaining games where it's like it's a
right,
bad
Nicholas.
game.
It's a Simpson game. My bad. It's a Simpsons game, not the Nickelodeon game. I knew it was one cartoon niggas.
Same shit. Same
Which
shit.
is actually
Same
perfect.
thing.
Hold on,
perfect. That's perfect for this game.
don't disrespect the Simpsons like that.
Hey, man, last time the Simpsons was good, Bush Jr. was in office.
That's crazy.
Hey, they're nostalgia. They're nostalgia. You can never. It's like cold pizza. You know, it's like pizza. You can't go wrong.
Once you made Family Guy and American Dad, you know Simpsons can't get to that level. So it's like, you know, it's only so much they can do now.
Right.
Is it my pick?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bengals in this game. Cowboys.
Yeah.
Cowboys game.
Yeah, give me the Bengals, but I do think that this is a high scoring game.
All right, those are our Week 14 picks, man, and we're gonna wrap this up with my Goofy Mog of the Week, man. Goofy Mog of the Week. I don't do these all the times because I make sure I save it for special assholes, so special goofies. This one I'm gonna give. I'm not gonna spend too much energy. I'm not gonna be yelling and stuff like that. For real, this nigga don't deserve for me to be yelling. I'm gonna go Andrew Schultz, comedian Andrew Schultz. For the things he responded to. Of course, Kendrick had a line on the album about don't let no white comedian say anything about black women as law, which of course we all know. And in typical white man fashion, he went on saying, well, y'all talk about them, well, I can't. Bringing up the black on black crime type of thing. If you really think and sit that Andrew Schultz said that, hey, you know, Kendrick said something about this, and you know, he's a hypocrite. And by the way, I will say that, you know, rappers are hypocrites, people are hypocrites. Yeah, Kendrick, you know, can't go on the domestic violence, mountain, I guess, and then link up with Kodak Black and Dr. Dre. Yes, I agree with that. You know, rappers, people are hypocrites, but you're a white man. Okay, not only are you a white man, you're a white man with a Hitler Youth mustache. Like you've always said stuff negative about black people. You've always said stuff negative about black women, and now you're going on here, you know, talking about what you would do to Kendrick in jail. Like, dude, what are we talking about, dog? Like, this is not new. He's been a clown, and I'm actually mad at people who give him a platform. I'm mad at there was such a split conversation I've seen on Twitter. Like, it's crazy. It ain't got nothing to do with Kendrick. It ain't got nothing to do with Drake. It's about these principles, man. And you shouldn't let white people feel that comfortable to talk about black women. And black men shouldn't be talking bad about black women, but especially not y'all. So I'm going to give Goofy Mog of the Week for him getting, why can't I talk about them with the stuff that happened this week, man? So I can barely talk. I haven't this much I've spoken all week. So I'm going to drink some tea. I'm going to edit the next couple hours. I'm going to watch football, man. So we got let's just bring everybody else in here back real quick. Anything on deck this weekend, man? What y'all got cracking?
One of my sorority sisters is flying in about an hour. I got to go to a 9:30 dinner, which sounds fucking terrible, if I'm being honest.
Oh, in your 30s, 9:30 dinner is rough.
Yeah. And then I got to be up at the ass crack of dawn so we can get out to Jerry World so I can go watch my Sun Devils dominate tomorrow. Please, God, let us win, because that would be just fucking terrible.
Yeah, I'm about to say it's a little cold in the A, so I'm probably gonna fly down to Tampa and play golf this weekend.
This guy.
And,
look at this fucking dude. Get a load of this fucking guy.
Nothing crazy. Nothing crazy. You know.
Some light.
I'm just gonna hop on a PJ real quick. Let y'all niggas deal with these temps.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah, I'm about to go hit the streets for my little man's 30th birthday. And then got an ugly Christmas sweater party tomorrow. So those are always fun. In the crib, get fucked up, get to see the gang. And then Sunday Bears Niners. That's it.
I will be putting up the Black History Month tree this weekend. And I call it the Black History Month tree because that bitch will be up till mid-February. So that's what I'll be doing this weekend and watching a lot of football, man. I appreciate my Red Zone Sundays because I don't get a lot of them anymore. So, but that's all we got for y'all, man. You know to follow Courtney on all social media platforms, 1-800-CALLA-BRO. Follow Mikey at Junior_Solito on Twitter. And follow Dante at OctoberZone on Twitter. Definitely interested to see what Bang's going to talk about on Monday. Bang missed the whole show, so I know it's something important. So follow Bang at JR Bang. Follow me on all social media platforms. That's Twitter, that's Instagram, that's Blue Sky, that's TikTok, everywhere at Barberchair Scott. Follow the Barberchair Network at Barberchair Net. Follow our partners, H&B Media, and H&B Media TV on Twitter, and at H&B Media on Instagram. Of course, subscribe to the Patreon, man. Patreon.com/Barbershop Network, man. As you can see right here, we're going to bring this up on the screen where you can go. Take your phone right up to it. QR code link will take you there. All different 4 tiers, man. If you subscribe to the $10 tier, you get 25% off. It's your first order on the Barbershop Network merchandise shop. That is the bcnetshop.com. It's cold as hell outside, man. Get you a hoodie. Man. We got a lot of hoodies available right now, man. So y'all enjoy y'all weekend. Big shout out to everybody who watched. Shout out to everybody who, sent me well wishes while I was sick. We'll be back on Monday, man. Talk a lot of football on Monday. Pav, you be back. Talk about some basketball. Everything going on in the NBA Cup. We up out of here.